bottoms up. I think we're good. But I have to commit to not moving. Which, let's face it, difficult. Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome to the Little Reader's house. I'm the Little Reader. You're in my house. I am cradling this microphone with the greatest amount of tender loving care because it is, in fact, the most fickle microphone because of a little conflict we had once. Once again, if you are microphone savvy, your wisdom is welcome. But that aside, welcome to how to activate your unique brand of magic. Why would you want to even activate your unique brand of magic? What a question, darling. It's a good one. It turns out that everyone has a brand of magic then when it is in alignment and when it is flowing. Your intentions turn into manifestations. Your visions turn into life. Your health, wellness, vitality, creativity are operating at peak levels of performance. And your aura, if you could visualize it the way I do in color and brightness and size and distance and ripple, is at its most magnetic and most perceivable to those around you. So it kind of puts the spotlight of the universe directly onto your existence. It enlivens you and it turns you into a magician. If you're familiar with the tarot, which I know you are if you're here, you may think of the magician, you may think of the high priestess, you may even think of the hermit or the star. It's a combination of alchemical factors that include your unique ability to project your desires into the world. That's your masculine or yang energy, and your unique abilities to receive magic into your world, which is your receptive feminine yin energies. And irrespective of where you fall on the gender scale, you have within you these forces dancing. It reminds me of A Christmas Carol, the version with, oh my goodness, how could I forget his name? George C. Scott, where he essentially prays to Christmas at the end of the film. Spoiler. And he says the forces of Christmas will strive within me, referring to this energy that almost comes from, it's inspired by Christmas. It's inspired by the force of the holiday and what it represents and stands for. But it's like it's through a door in his heart that opens to allow that energy in. So what does this mean on a practical level for my intellectuals? Because I am repping my university here, fight on. I can't leave any intellectuals and academics out of the equation. Let me put it to you like this, baby. Think of life hacking. It is all about optimizing your internal chemistry through various habits, rituals, and routines to put you into this higher level of performance. I think Tim Ferriss would be a phenomenal example of a popularized life hacker who uses things like HRV balance and gosh, that's about the extent of my Tim Ferriss knowledge. But I know there's more. Maybe even Simple and Sinister was that his kettlebell workout. Aside from Tim Ferriss, you can think of other people who are holistic influencers. You can think of Big Natural, which is your not pharmaceutical, your supplement suppliers. But you can also think of Big Pharma as your pharmaceutical suppliers. There are individuals who will seek to optimize. I knew a lot of them when I was in school, wherever that was, who would use pharmaceuticals to optimize their performance. I have no gripe with any of this. For someone who's thinking logically, it only makes sense to optimize your body, mind, and spirit's ability to perform if you are willing to produce as much in this material world as you can, whether that is art, whether that is a product you're supplying, a service you are offering, or simply for the purpose of enjoying your own vitality, your own athleticism, your own brilliance, your own ability to be comfortable in any given moment. So I hope that that provides an intellectual rationale for what we're doing here, which is the same thing, simply in a spiritual context. What I like about the spiritual context that we are giving this reading today is that it takes into account more than just external solutions. So what we're going to experience in the reading today will include recommendations from your spirit guides and your ancestors, or if you prefer from an intellectual perspective to think of it as your subconscious mind, you may think of it that way, whatever puts you at ease. Those recommendations will not be limited to external solutions like changing habits, rituals, and routines, which is where life hacking thrives. That's the realm of life hacking. It will also be looking at internally held beliefs. So it will be creating shifts. And now for my spiritualists and mystics, you will be familiar with the concept of quantum shifts and quantum physics and the phenomenon that occurs when you have a mental breakthrough, when two thoughts that were once in opposition are received and held space for mentally. They seem to have this effect where they cancel themselves out, and it's almost like a new neural pathway is formed, and that's instantaneous. For mystics, that's like a change in reality, because to change the mind is to change perceived reality. Quantum physics, it's the same concept. For spiritualists and my sensitives who are listening, you understand this type of breakthrough because it happens in readings all the time. You'll receive a new piece of information that seems custom made for your situation, and it allows you to think in a new way, which creates an internal change. So that is where, and I'm sorry, my nose keeps itching on the left side. That's somebody watching. No, I mean, it is. I can definitely feel that. But I can also say maybe this is what our yin energy is increasing as we discuss this idea of the internal subconscious role, because that is where life hacking kind of hits a wall, and then we step into mysticism, where we are now taking in vibrations, we're taking in energy, we're taking in ideas, and that's creating changes within our chemistry from the inside versus putting our chemistry into a new external framework. The objective is, as always, to unify both. The best of both worlds. Thank you, Hannah Montana. But really, that is the goal. So, what we're doing here today, darling, is we are picking a crew / pile, however you're familiar with this terminology. You will allow your subconscious or conscious mind to do it. It doesn't matter how you land there. That's kind of the magic of it all, is that the two are so interwoven. Sometimes what we think we're doing consciously, we're doing subconsciously or unconsciously. And what we think we're allowing to be unconscious or subconscious can be dictated. Where's your head at, girl? Dictated by our conscious patterning. So don't overthink it. That's what I'm trying to say. Allow yourself to select your pile or crew. Flow into it, receive the messages that are given. I recommend a pen and a paper, because as we get into the nitty-gritty, darling, of our readings, and we want to make them worthwhile, and we want the juice to be worth the squeeze, if that makes sense, taking notes and implementing is a valuable part of the process, and it's something that often gets left out during readings. So there is that. By the same token, and on the other hand, and I only have one hand to gesture with, so as a half Cuban, this is very frustrating because usually I need both hands to get my point across. But on the other hand, simply listening to the information and allowing it to wash over you, and allowing the channeling that's happening through my vessel, which will deliver a certain vibrational sound through my voice, certain vibrational quality through the word selection, certain vibrational quality through the cards that come up in the imagery there. If you think about a reading, it is the collaboration of thousands of forces. Me and every experience I've ever had, both on the physical and non-physical planes, the deck creators who create intention in every card, the artists who work with those creators, the meanings that one writes versus the imagery that the other forms, and then throw in some background music and the unique time, place, and astrological conditions under which the reading is filmed, and you have a recipe for magic. So I want you to take this seriously, beautiful soul, and consider the value in both the masculine action implementation portion, which is the notes and the writing, and the feminine receptive portion, which is the listening and the surrendering and allowing. And once again, we let that alchemy happen as we step into this reading. In 2024, that was there we go again, funny bone twice. In 2024, and it is a time of levity for sure. We have more this year than we have in years, energetically speaking, and that's nice. The forces with whom I commune have imparted this desire and guidance for our spirituality to become less about entertainment and more about implementation. And the way this happens is first with the understanding of the value of what is being provided. And when we understand the value of it, we are much more likely to intrinsically and naturally from within our hearts find the space and energy to implement. So please consider the value of this type of offering, the value of the hours and the art and the effort and the money that are put into it, and then consider how that value is being given to you. Now, what can you do with it? What can you allow it to do with you? It's alchemy, baby. So that's my speech about that. In closing, once you've watched the reading, we will have another Q&A at the end of the video. Yes, we will, with not just your most commonly asked questions, which there are many, but also questions that are being channeled from, well, I point up there, but it's more like, it's everywhere, being channeled from everywhere. Stay tuned because they'll be relevant to the reading, but they'll also be relevant to you. Isn't that funny? And finally, there are rituals for this reading to activate your magic in the Patreon. So speaking of value, it is another offering, and I find that adding the incentive of that ritual, but also understanding that you have to put forth an initial investment in order to receive that, only intensifies the ability that that ritual has to change your life. In other words, there's a buy-in from you, which is why it will be available in the Patreon versus here on the tube. So you'll get 90% of the goods right here, FREE. But if you want to really send it home, hit it with that home run, it is $11 a month for the Patreon. So keep that in your mental. Is there anything else we would like to say here? Oh, of course. I love you. And I thank you for being here, for your presence, for your desire to expand in whatever form that takes. Entertainment is okay as well. Not just okay, it's wonderful. However it takes in you, however the seed lands, you are so worthy of love, more love and never less. And it is an honor to be in this exact present moment, holding space with your beautiful soul. You are the one who inspires me. So, until we meet again, which hopefully will be in the next couple of seconds, I'm sending you all the love I've got. Bye for now. Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome to our reading. It is such an honor and a privilege and a pleasure to have you here. Go ahead and take a deep breath in with me. And let it go. Let's do that twice more, please. Deep breath in. And sigh that bad boy out. Last one. Deep breath in. And sigh it out, darling. Perfect. And now, with a clear mind and a clear heart, I trust you completely to look at our cruise today and select the one that you feel most attracted to and most drawn to. In fact, you might find counterintuitively that the crew you feel almost repulsed by or least drawn to could be the very one for you. Let's intellectualize it less and allow the most primal elemental part of yourself to make the selection. Looking at our pile 1 crew, believe in the impossible, blue moon, with the beautiful Aqua aura quartz here. Next, we'll take a look at our beautiful pile 2. This is a Bloodstone with your commitment is being tested, first quarter moon. Next, we'll take a peek at our pile 3. It's a glorious raw rose quartz with surrender to the divine, full moon. And lastly, we have our glorious pile 4 with Danburite. It's double terminated here, so we can see 2 crystals growing together as one, followed by work through your fears, new moon in Scorpio. And I just heard a Scorpio go, that's mine. And that's perfect. Whatever resonates, whatever flows. So go ahead, make your selection. Keep in mind that you can always go into more than one world, depending on where your heart is drawn. There is no wrong choice, and I will see you wherever you choose. Hello, beautiful pile number 1, my Aqua Aura Quartz crew. Before I set you down to the corner here, I'm just going to let you know that above all, you are so very worthy of love. More love, never less. And don't you be forgetting it. So I'm going to set you down in the corner. And let's take a look at your energy here with Believe in the Impossible, Blue Moon. So the way that these cards were selected was based on how your magic feels to be perceived. And what I'm feeling immediately is wind whistling through the trees. Your magic is like the air, the breeze that ruffles the feathers of a bird, rustles the trees of a forest, moves people on a core level. I see Jack and Rose standing at the very front of the Titanic, wind blowing through Rose's hair. There's this ethereal yet tangible way that your magic moves, and people may say that you're subtle. They may say that you're soft-spoken. They may call you a gentle giant. You may physically find that in stature you are tall or broad. You may find that people are initially taken aback by your size and your physical presence, but then soothed by your gentleness, by your subtlety, by your soft-spoken nature. The way your magic feels to be in the room with is calm support. It's an individual who others can lean on and rely on. It is the almost fatherly Capricornian protector force. It is grounded and earthly, and yet it initially arose as air and as wind. So we know that between those two elements is your power matrix. You are both moving and ephemeral and steady and solid. The way your magic feels is when you look at someone or something, it's like there's no hiding. They may squirm, they may wiggle, they may worm, they may be uncomfortable, or they may feel the height of love. They may feel absolutely seen, validated, and known through your magic. The way your magic works in a crowd is it creates space, but not physically. You may find that people in a large crowd, say at a theme park, don't move out of the way for you until you've reached close proximity to them, and then they are shocked by the fact that they didn't initially notice you immediately because of the size and stature of your aura, but it's kept tightly contained. Your magic is almost like a pine tree. As we see, similarly, we could imagine that these are snow-covered pines. They don't have to be, but like a pine tree or a sequoia or a redwood, your energy is very vertical. So your magic is similar. It grounds deeply into the earth, and then it shoots up into the sky in this incredible vertical line. And this quality gives you the ability to reach great heights. Once again, Capricorn comes to mind, not because that's necessarily your sign, but because you have deeply held ambitions, you have a deeply held sense of your own greatness, and you can feel yourself straining to reach higher heights, to get to the view, to get to the top of the mountain, to get somewhere. And so that's how your magic feels, beautiful soul. Let's put you over to the side here. And let's see what your guides, your ancestors in the divine wants to tell you about your magic. So, when we say the divine, and we say your guides, and we say your ancestors, and earlier in the introduction we said your subconscious mind, maybe you're thinking to yourself, my beautiful friend, what are we hearing from here? Or maybe you already intuitively know. What we're hearing from is whoever wants to come through for you. So once the message is laid out, I'll be able to tell who's talking. It could be the divine at large, just meaning spirit itself. It could be someone very specific too. So let's see. For this beautiful soul who's watching, what do you want to tell them about how their magic works, please? Oh, jumper coming right out. Ah, yes. Mystical sister. Oil of vitriol. Spring. Mars, wow. Let's get some tarot as well. Which deck will we use? And if you hear a plane fly by, I live right in the flight path of one of the very coolest airports in the North American continent. I don't know if that's true, but I forgot to close the window. So we're going to be getting a little bit of airplane sound effect. So spirit, whoa. Another jumper, interesting. I can see how your magic works visually. So we have the Page of Swords, we have the Moon in reverse, we have the Eight of Swords in reverse, we have the Four of Cups upright, and we have the Eight of Wands upright with speed. Then we have the Ten of Cups in reverse. Back of the deck, B-O-D. So I'm going to shift my legs a little bit, and then we're going to walk. With Mystical Sister here, the first thing I see is exactly what we spoke about with the Ascension quality. So the way your magic works is it comes out of your crown and it explodes into space. It's very mental. And like this moth following the light, you create your own light. And you also follow higher thoughts. So when you're having conversation with an individual, another person, you'll often notice about yourself when they say something that connects to your crown chakra, to your mind, it lights up your brain. Your energy jumps out of your head space, your crown, like let's say your head is here physically, and you can't perceive this visually. At least many people aren't trained to do so, or haven't allowed themselves the time to develop this ability, but let's say you could. If you could visualize this, you would see a light shoot out of the crown of your head when you have a moment of inspiration in conversation, and it's like that thought takes you higher, like riding a roller coaster. Another way to say this is you can be a person who gets high off of thought. You're a person who gets high into the mental plane. You can take an idea and change your entire physiology, your heart rate, your excitement, your physical energy level simply with a thought. So your magic is very cerebral, very crown chakra, and it's all about raising to the next level. So once again, to illustrate for your type of magic, my beautiful pile one, you are an individual who it's all about linear and vertical movement up. With the oil of vitriol, your magic is also very powerfully in your mouth. So we have a lot of head-focused magic here. And your ability to cut someone down or raise them up with the words from your mouth is a big part of your magic. With the Moon and the Eight of Swords in reverse, you have curse breaker magic, which is something very fun. It also is very powerful, so be gentle. your guides, your spirit guides who are around you right now, who have worked with you through many lives, who you have even been in their shoes in some lives, are telling me that with this ability, you can see things that most people don't always see and release words out of your mouth that liberate them to the reality of their circumstances. So another way of saying this is you can go to your friends and say, hey, I noticed X, Y, and Z about you. And it's not like when any of us go to our friends and make an observation. The way you do it, my beautiful Aqua or a Quartz, is you cut them to the quick or you release them. And it has to do with this vertical energy. It has to do with if they'll give you permission to do so, you can give them a thought or an observation about themselves that's been hidden and release it. Release them from a curse just by making the observation if they choose to accept it. So your magic is, again, very head-based. It's in the crown. It's in your mouth. We could say that's throat chakra related, but your guides are saying it's not. It's not because of the words you choose, and it's not because of the vibrational quality of those words. It's the way that you quite literally emit energy from your mouth hole. If a surgeon or if a doctor could take an x-ray of your skull and see the way your jaw is attached to your head and your teeth. There's something about the bones, the structure, the anatomy, the landscape, the architecture of your head that is designed to release and break curses through your mouth. So this applies to you as well. You can say things to yourself. They hold a lot of weight. You can make the rules and break the rules that you believe in by saying them out loud. And with oil of vitriol, your magic works to curse others as well. So be careful when you make a prediction. Keep in mind the weight of that because it has the ability to come true. Your magic at its finest and most synthesized has all the power to make or break worlds, I was told. To make or break worlds. There is a poem that goes with this. It reminds me of the Hafiz poem, which is the mountains bowing to your greatness, worshipping your essence in a way. When you release all this energy that's pent up in your crown out of your mouth, it does something very similar. Here I'm seeing a golden apple. It almost is giving red apple from Adam and Eve Temptation Days, Garden of Eden. And with this golden apple, you invite others to take a bite. You can pass on knowledge and wisdom. This is part of your magic that you've acquired through all this time spent in your crown chakra. And when you acquire it, you can pass it on to those who are willing, lead them, guide them, much like a human spirit guide. You have the ability to accelerate the consciousness of others. This could be very useful to be a professor, a teacher, a boss, a leader, a orator, a pastor, motivational speaker, influencer. It's all there. But you don't do it just by vomiting out your energy. It's very deliberate. And this is your magic. When we see spring here, and we also have the Four of Cups, and if you'll take a moment to notice the glorious similarities that came up here between this brain plant that has all these roots and eyeballs and this tree. Once again, it's this idea of going vertical and then spreading. So your magic, as it develops, isn't just going to travel in this straight linear fashion. It's going to branch out. And I'm seeing your brain and your head once again with this cerebral quality. Now it's your ancestors from your family tree who are telling me that genetically, the way your genealogy and your ancestral line has evolved over time, and check me out making these linear motions once again, is to ultimately branch out and give to others in a communal fashion before finally graduating, we could say, leaving the earthly plane, ascending all the way up like an elevator. So I can see that your magic, although it has the ability to just take you straight up to the penthouse, to the top floor, your guides and ancestors want to say that please pause when you get to those upper levels and spread and branch everything out, because you have the ability to help other people connect so many neural pathways in their brain by providing this knowledge that you have. So conversation is huge here. Given that your magic is very fully cerebral, it's very much about conversation and communication, friendship and socialization. It is not meant to be hermited. So your ancestors are also emphasizing, don't hermit this magic away. Don't keep this magic just to yourself. The magic is meant to be communal. So go out and find someone to talk to. Talk to them about whatever they want to speak about, whatever you have expertise in. And by sharing your insights, you are activating their neurons, their neural pathways. Then they go forth and do the same. They go forth and do the same. They go forth and do the same. And you're a world changer. You're meant to break the status quo with this magic. You're meant to change the way people think. You are a thinking magician, a thinking machine. I'm seeing you with this wand. And it doesn't take away from your ability to act whatsoever. The final thing that Spirit is saying, divine as a whole, so not ancestors or spirit guides, we got them to weigh in, but here we're looking at your divine reflection. So the way that Spirit sees you, the way that all of Spirit sees you, is quite a doer. You have all this cerebral power to think, but somehow it transitions into this incredible balance of being able to do. With Mars and the Eight of Wands, it's speed. In business, we have this concept called speed of implementation, and it's the faster that you can implement an idea. It's particularly relevant in marketing and publicity. The more effective that idea is going to be. Here with Mars and Eight of Wands, you can take these ideas of yours once you've disseminated them into your social group with the right community, because this is essential to your magic to have community. Once again, you're not a solo operator. You're a smooth operator, baby, but you're not a solo operator. You take it to this ability to act, to move. And in doing so, once again, I'm seeing veins and neural pathways, myelination in the brain. So it speeds up the ability at which electrical impulses are traveling with our myelinated areas of the brain. You are like the myelin sheath. You speed up the movement, you speed up the pattern, you speed up the ascension, you're speeding up the evolution of humanity. Your magic takes things from idea to action. You're a manifestor, a mental magician who then brings it into the physical. But through this journey, it involves including other people. It involves bringing in your family. It involves uplifting your friends. And you may find that you are particularly oriented toward helping your friends and family, maybe even to their own resistance, where they're like, excuse me, Aqua or Quartz, can you just not tell me that about myself right now? Like, I just need you to listen and be with me. And you can listen and be with people and be supportive and do everything you want to do, my beautiful pile one. When it comes to using your magic, however, you're always going to be pushing people. You're always going to be changing their mind. You're always going to be bringing them to the next level of consciousness, because that is what you do, because you ascend up through that elevator shaft so quickly. With the 10 of Cups here, it's all about love for you, baby. That is where your magic comes from. That's no surprise. Love is the origin of all of us. Yours in particular, though, is done with such a big heart. I can feel your beating heart here. You may even have quite literally an enlarged heart. You may have heart-related palpitations. You may have arrhythmia. You may have high blood pressure, because your heart with this 10 of Cups is so central to your ability to rise that your heart almost feels like it has to work overtime sometimes to project that magic from the root of you up through the crown of you, up into the higher realms. So your guides ask you to take it easy, take it slow, breathe deeply when you can. Understand that you are not the sole arbiter of the ascension of humanity. It's not all on you to do, my beautiful Aqua Aura Quartz crew. You are doing a hugely important role here. You are providing so much magic, but you're not doing it alone. Don't forget about your community. And when you let go through your mouth to bless those that you love with knowledge and insights, you're actually nourishing your heart, you're nourishing your emotions, you're nourishing your entire being. So take that and run with it, baby. Now, let's get a little bit more insight. How can you practically activate your magic? So we know how your magic works. Let's take a look at how you can fire it up and experience it on the next level. We will go into the tarot. I believe this is Doreen Virtue's deck. Let's throw in some reversals for good measure. How about that? Oop. So how are you doing, beautiful soul? What's it like to be you? What's it like to have this rapidly ascending magic? I want to hear about your personal experience. I want to know. I want to know what the people know, but I want to know what you know, quite honestly, because you know more than I know. You can enlighten me a little bit. A lot of it, maybe. So drop it in the comments. Let's get some engagement going. Give me a little thummy thumb. Give me a little comment. Let me know what it's like to be you. All right, Spirit. Practical. How can my beautiful pile one activate their magic? Ooh, through practical means. Okay, 2 of air said, hey, check me out. Whoa. Okay, King of water has a word as well. Okay, come back. 9 of air. Queen of air, upright. Oh yes, so all our mental faculties are firing. Right here. We've got our 3 of water. We've got our ego card, 15. We've got our king of fire. We've got our ace of fire. Glorious, my darling. And then we've got our queen of earth reversed, BOD back of deck. I'm going to shift my little Legos because they're falling right asleep. This is the price we pay for doing our work on the floor. Now, I love to be grounded. I'm a triple earth situation over here. But it does come with a price. Also known as leg pain. Okay, so gazing upon it, observations. We've got our water, we've got our fire, we've got minimal earth here. So you're grounded. Oh, we only have, before I even go there, Spirit grabs my hand and takes it over here to our reverse Queen of Earth. So there is a need for groundedness here. We see it in the absence of earth cards in the spread, and then in the presence of our back of the deck energy. So with the Queen of Earth, in order to balance your internal systems, we need you to be outside as much as possible, my love. So get yourself to a park, get yourself to a cemetery, get yourself to a hike, get yourself to the beach, get outside, because in doing so, especially walking barefoot where you can, oh yes, we talked about life hackers, and that reminds me of earthing, which has mixed reviews as far as science goes. Is it legit? Is it not legit? Can't tell you, but what I can tell you is that it is being brought to my attention in huge green flags saying walk around barefoot outside. Just do it. The divine says so. Other things for practical activation of your magic. Oh, hug a tree, okay? So you can learn a lot from trees. You are one. You spent a past life as a tree, or more than one. In fact, you are spending a parallel dimension right now as a tree. It's one of the trees we mentioned at the intro. It could be redwood. It could be pine. It could be, sandalwood. Is there such a tree? Yeah, there may be such a tree as a sandalwood tree. Don't quote me on that. I know there's a sandalwood oil. Oh, we also have the Palo Santo stick here, and this element, this idea of wood in you. Yeah, that's not what I meant, but sure. This idea of the element of wood in you, around you, the growth, it's so constant that if you can just hug a tree, literally wrap your arms around it, darling, and be like, tree, I love you. Hold on, I see the glare there, so let's just spare you. If you can wrap your arms around the tree and love on the tree, it is going to love you back, baby. And it's going to teach you a few things. It's going to draw in that dimension where you're spending time as a tree. And every time we integrate our parallel lives and other dimensions, we strengthen ourselves just that much more. So hug a tree. With the 2 of air, that's our 2 of swords and our 3 of water in reverse. When it comes to your socializing and it comes to your sharing information with people and celebrating, do make an effort to schedule social outings with individuals who you can speak with intelligently. When I say speak with intelligently, I mean there is a time and place for shooting the shit. God, I love shooting the shit. There's a time and place for brunch and getting drunk and just talking BS and playing board games. I'm just listing some of my favorite things here, and maybe you can relate. But what Spirit is saying is, you, my dear, thrive on intelligent conversation. So schedule time with fellow genes. That's short for geniuses. We like to shorten words here in the Little Reader's House. But truly, schedule time for exploring topics in the world, collaborating creatively, having conversations that are about not just philosophy, but implementable, we just made that up, implementable concepts, things that you can actually do when you get together with your friends. Let's ride this wave of life hacking that we've been chit-chatting about for all day. You get together, you talk about how you're improving your lives, what you're doing, how you're working out, how you're meditating, how you're, it's kind of like ambitious talk, a mastermind group. This is a concept, oh my goodness, is it a Neville Goddard concept? I don't know. Don't quote me on it, darling. But create a mastermind, form it, talk with them. Have your social group come with you as you ascend. This is a practical ask of the divine of you. Here we have, and I'm going to move these up so you can see, but I'm going to then put them back a little out of frame because the glare is not our friend. But we have the King of Water reversed, and we have our ego card, 15. So in this concept, bring the heart in when and where you can. Don't forget that you are a heart-based, heart-centric being. It's like being an ambitious Capricorn, but having the heart of a Pisces. That's just what wanted to come out. But truly, remember that your heart is your operating mainframe, and that without it, without implementation of love, without love as the focal point of your conversations and your enlightenment and your actions, it's not that it's all for naught, because nothing is for naught in this gorgeous learning matrix. It's just that you're taking the long way, and I know you're all about speed, effectiveness, and efficiency. So if you'd like to take the fastest route to joy, to fulfilling your dreams, to ascending the enlightenment, to simply finding out what your potential is and maximizing that forever, remember your heart, remember love, remember to validate the human experience of everyone. We know that you have the words. We know that you can let people know who they are, cut them down, where they stand, and hit them with that truth bomb. It's like having a Mercury in Sagittarius, for instance. But be kind when you do it. With the 9 of air and the King of fire. Again, I'll bring these up so you can see them in frame, and then we'll put them back to avoid a little glare. We have this concept of being overwhelmed with the activity of your mind to the degree that it stops you from taking action. So here your practical implementation is to find a way to calm your mind. This could be anything. For some of you, you already have it with smoking cannabis, with a meditation practice, with a prescription drug that helps to modulate or put measure into perhaps an ADHD diagnosis. For those of you who don't have this, in order to maximize your magic, it is time to find a way to balance the brain in order to create more organized action. We know you're a doer. The thing is, you may feel like a doer who's like just vomiting out actions because there's no rhyme or reason. It could be compulsive doing, or it could be that you have been locked into a depression or anxiety because you can't do to the degree you want because of the overwhelm of your mind. So we need to rest that mind, and that is best done through any of the following. Meditation, I'm hearing you would thrive in it, particularly a breath work focused or breath work centric meditation practice. Physical yoga, asana, that's movement, that's posture. Plant medicine, cannabis microdosing. Could also be pharmaceutical related, potentially Adderall. It could be HRV balancing. We talked about that a little bit in the intro. I knew it would come up for somebody, and it resonates beautifully with the energy here, that vertical. See, the idea is you're traveling in lines, and the way your magic works is very linear. So we need your brain chemistry and the organization of your neurons not to physically fire linearly. If you looked at electrical current in a brain, it doesn't work quite like that. It's zigging and zagging. However, what those impulses produce as far as your perceptible thoughts, what you're able to perceive and how you're able to understand what's being said, that needs to be logical and organized to complement your magic. So we need to get your mind organized. We do this with a practice. So select one, choose it, and align with that. Someone said something that I read yesterday. Don't know who said it, and I'm probably not going to quote it accurately, but greatness is not the result of talent, I think it was. It is the result of consistency. So whatever this thing is, whatever you choose, commit to it. Do it regularly, like a ritual. Finally, with the Queen of Air and the Ace of Fire, this is not an advice. This is a direct download from your spirit guides, including your tree counterpart. So listen closely. Your mind is, like all minds, connected to the realm of half form, which is this destination in time, space, reality where things are perceivable before they come into full material form. I'm knocking on the desk because this is a fully materialized form, just like my hand and this ring and everything you see here and the phone you're holding. Your tree counterpart and your guides say, unlike all other minds, your brain is wired in such a way that the smallest action from you causes what you perceive in your mental space to come into form rapidly. Your mind is wired so densely into so many other minds that it actually pulls energy from your social circle. It pulls energy from your coworkers. It pulls energy from your family, and it synthesizes and harmonizes it for the good of all, then turning it into action as soon as you take the smallest action. So your guide is asking you to write down or make note of the 3 to 5 biggest goals that you have, either for the entire collective of humanity or for yourself personally. In truth, they are one and the same. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. And you take small action steps toward it as soon as they come up for you. As soon as you're inspired, don't force it. Just write down what you'd like to happen. And then as soon as you receive an inspiration, take a small action toward it, because your magic is in quite literally manifesting from thought to form. It is very, very specific and very, very special. And once again, it helps us all. So, beautiful soul, that is where we are leaving it today. It's been an absolute privilege, honor, pleasure being in your space. You're a magical, delicious being and really special, really, really special. Go ahead and take your notes, mark it all down. If you're looking for the ritual that goes with this reading, that's in the Patreon. We are going to do some fun stuff there, but more than fun, we change some molecules and we do some magic, and we help implement all of these realizations into a very physical and emotional sauce. I have no idea what I just said, but I'm sure it makes sense to you. If you feel moved to like, subscribe, or share, it's a gift to me. And until we meet again, beautiful soul, I am sending you all the love I've got, because you are so very worthy of it. Bye for now. Hello, my beautiful Bloodstone crew, glorious pile 2. Welcome to the reading. You made it. You're in. Take a deep breath. Another one. Get your pen and paper and prepare to hear a little bit about how your magic feels to be around. This card was actually pulled with the intention of channeling how your magic feels to be around. So let me get a sense of it, let me feel into it, and let's talk about it, shall we? With the first quarter moon here, there's an element of being refreshed. There's an element of breathing deeply. There's an element of a sea breeze, a mist. And interestingly, if you felt drawn at all to pile 1, there is a similarity in the quality of energy having this air element to it. And your energy is totally mystical in that it comes up and it kisses the object of its affection, the object of its attention, and then it kind of ephemerally drifts away in the breeze with this sea breeze, this ocean's kiss. If you've ever visited the coast and gone up to the ocean and had the mist, or you've maybe been on a boat, had the mist rise up and just kiss you on the face, this is how your energy feels. It's also like clarity. Dazzling clarity. There's an element of lilac, periwinkle, of a clearing. And we even see that illustrated in the cards here with the way the clouds are moving, clearing to make way for the moon to be seen. And yet you can obscure yourself at any time. You don't need to be always seen. And yet when you make yourself seen, when you clear your own mind and you clear your own attention and you present yourself, you cannot be missed. You cannot be mistaken. To be around your energy is to feel inspired. It's to feel dazzled. It's to feel seduced. It's to feel hungry and thirsty and yet quenched at the same time. The way other humans perceive your energy is as dangerous, as a dare, because it's so magical, not because you have any ill intent, not because you're doing anything negative whatsoever or trying to harm anybody, but simply because you reside in such a plane of consciousness that is so subtle and so perceptive that others feel primally uncomfortable because you're tapped into something that most aren't consciously working on developing. Most aren't. Although I will say in 2024, when this video is being filmed, that is no longer as true as it was in 2023. Individuals are working to gain clarity into the subtle realms now. So hence comes the inspiration of your energy, where it used to scare, where it might scare people who are significantly older than you or who are locked into generational mindsets that have a lot to do with the material and the third dimension and acquisition. It may still scare those who are in that consciousness, but those who are playing around in the fifth dimension, who are taking a little sip here and there, those individuals feel inspired to be in your energy because you take the worlds of art, you take the worlds of fantasy, you take the worlds that others consider as childish or imaginative, and you make them real by living in them. So to be around you is to believe that magic is real. To be around you is to believe that fantasy is real. And this is exactly how your magic operates, because it is real with you, my beautiful Bloodstone. It is real with you, and it is real within you. So let's take a look at how your magic works on a little bit of a deeper level, and kind of the personality of your magic. I'm going to set your talisman over to the side, my beautiful pile too. And as I do, I'm going to remind you that you are so very worthy of love. More love, never less. So we'll get messages from your ancestors, spirit guides, potentially, as well as from the you who exists in parallel dimensions. We had something like that come through in pile 1, which was a lot of fun, and the divine at large. We'll be able to suss out who's coming through once we lay it out. Interesting. I feel like I need to be very quiet with you. And that's your magic there. It's it's unexpected, but extremely all-pervasive. Your magic in a room, now it's in mine, thank you, is filling up every molecule of air in this room. But it's not suffocating me, it's invigorating me. But it's also making me think. Not just think, but be still. Beyond think. You're beyond the mental plane. There's something higher going on with your magic. I'm also getting a really stubborn shuffle with this deck. And once again, I've peeped the crone a couple of times now, so I just want to show it again. So Spirit, how does my beautiful Pile 2's magic work, please? The Destroyer. Left side of my nose is itching again. It's interesting because that happened in the introduction, which was filmed yesterday. It hasn't itched again until now. The Vessel. The Flame. The Sustainer. Naturally. One more. The Creator, yeah. That tracks. Wow, are we just gonna have the quietest reading ever here? We might. Oh, you're telling me something. It's interesting, your magic. It's like massaging my cells now. Okay, the Panther, the Oyster, the Cosmic Egg, of course, the Fire Ant, yep, and the Cobra. Oh, wow. Okay, I'm gonna move my legs real quick. All right, I have now shifted in my seat. Let's take a look and enjoy. Glorious yo. Glorious, I was gonna say your magic, but it came out as glorious. Glorious yo. All right, who's here? Who wants to talk? Okay. Your magic stems from the fact that you're an incredibly old soul. Does not mean you are super dull or super boring. But with the crone coming out, popping out just for a little visitation and then hiding back in the deck, you hide your ancient qualities well. And it's not intentional. You're not trying to hide your ancient magic. But because the older you get, the more playful, lighthearted, and magical a soul becomes, and the more magic it is able to access, you have this really, really unique presence that is both erratic and steady, both watery and fiery, both all extremes, best way I could say it. And looking over here, I don't know if it's in frame, we have a couple of pieces of jewelry that I don't think are fully visible, but I'm going to bring them in a little bit more. Kind of reminds me of these two counterparts, which is an aquamarine and a amethyst. These beveled and cut jewels are much like your energy, with the Sustainer and the Destroyer on either side. And then the Creator comes in to gently moderate this Destroyer energy. In other words, you're not chaos, you're not drama. You can be if you want to be, but you don't really want to be. You want to uplift. Central with the cosmic egg here, you have great awareness of your magic and great awareness of cosmic wisdom. You may communicate with extraterrestrials. You may communicate with the other side, frequently the dead. There's a connection here to ancient Egypt. There is a connection here to tombs. And it seems to me that you have an Egyptian counterpart who is dead in our time space, who has been not discovered. It's a mummy that is still hidden from our modern discovery, for lack of a better word, our modern tactics of finding the tomb. And that self, that counterpart of yours, in its burial, is communicating with you in real time now. So you were this Egyptian individual You had an Egyptian life, you were then mummified, buried, and that spirit has remained online as one of your own spirit guides. In fact, that's who is here now and is communicating with you through the portal of that mummy, of that, I guess, is sarcophagus the right word? So it's interesting, you have a link, a very real link in Egypt now to what was once ancient Egypt, and that pervades. I'm being shown gold. I'm being shown riches. I'm being shown this inner wealth of knowledge that enables you to manifest with your magic money, but not just money, respect. I don't know how in the world I tied those two in together because one does not equate to the other. I suppose in our current time-space reality, respect often comes with money, but that's not the way I mean it for you, my beautiful pile two. The way I mean it for you is this self-awareness that you carry with you, this inner light, which we see here with the flame and the fire ant, demands respect immediately when you are met, when you are seen, when you are acknowledged. And yet there's this very gentle quality to your energy as well. So part of the respect that comes with knowing you, my beautiful Bloodstone, is for others to acknowledge that you can destroy them. You are not afraid to create destruction. It's giving Kali a little bit. It is this idea that you will not hesitate to let go of a friendship, to leave a job, to... okay, I'm hearing cut off your own arm. If it would free you from a shackle, you'd be like, bye-bye arm. Peace out. This is your magic. Your magic, the way it works, I can't even pin it down. If I were to take a thumbtack and try to put it into your magic would swirl around it. It's incredibly evasive. It cannot be pinned down. It cannot be stopped. It's constantly moving. Another way that your magic works is through eye contact. So when you look at somebody in the eyes, you immediately have the ability to get into their head. For those of you who have worked on developing this skill / gift / way of being, you can easily manipulate other people by looking at them in the eyes. You can suggest things to them and they can hear it telepathically, consciously or unconsciously on their part. It depends on the receiver, it depends on the individual. But through eye contact, you do have the ability to influence. This is powerful work if you are a model, if you are an actor, if you're a performer, because you can look into a camera and you can influence quite literally millions of people through your eye contact, because once they look into the portals of your eyes and receive the beam that's coming through, they're affected. I'm trying to think of performers who have this ability. Strong eye contact. Okay, I'm thinking of a couple of people, but I will say Emma Stone has this ability. I'm saying that because I watched Poor Things last night. There's another performer who has it, who was in the film Saltburn as the lead actor. These are not necessarily film recommendations. They are just examples, if you've seen these films, of individuals who have these qualities. But there are far and beyond many more performers who have this gift. And we see it a lot in the performance industry precisely because that sort of access to that raw access to magic, your magic, is what is marketable. It is what makes performers standouts, because casting directors, producers, those who are looking to make money off of projects understand that individuals who have these portals into the magical realms like you will be very marketable because they're influencing and accessing deep parts of the viewer. So that's a whole other, we can go down that train at another time, but you have it. It's part of how your magic works. And with the creator here, you may not be a performer at all, but through your eyes, the way you both perceive the world and project onto the world, you have the ability to create great things. You can look at a blank canvas and paint on it, paint something profound from another dimension, something that an extraterrestrial or extra dimensional, if you prefer, being showed to you. You can look at a blank page and write onto it poetry. You can look at a piece of wood, a hunk of wood, a slab of marble and carve onto it. With those eyes, you have the ability to see things both as they are and as they can become. Your magic is immensely about honing and creating potential and chiseling away the unwanted and the unnecessary. Even as I sit in this room, I feel the way your magic is moving against my body. And it's, in a way, the massage of your energy hugging the curvature of my body is tightening in some places and uplifting in others. It's like, let us mold you into your potential. Simply let us be around you, us being your magic, your guides, your energy, and mold you into your highest self. This is the way your magic works. So where you bring it into a room, into the world, into a forest, into a tent, into a temple, into a movie theater, into work, everything around you is asked to rise up, to contract in some spots, loosen in others, to come into balance, to come into fullness, to come into potential. And that is a terrifying, terrifying magic for any form that is wishing to stagnate. So it tells me that your magic moves you out of relationships quickly. Your magic moves you out of workplaces quickly. Your magic moves you away from individuals, places, and objects that are looking to remain the same, because your magic is the grim reaper of stagnancy and the grim reaper of atrophy. That's a really interesting way to phrase that. But there is this quality of death that you bring with you in this gorgeous way. The death card being one of our most uplifting opportunities for complete and total change. And you come to reap, baby. It's beautiful, it's artistic, it's gentle, and yet it pulls no punches and it tells no lies. With the oyster and the cosmic egg. So we've got two serpent representations here, and we also have two enclosed elements as well as the vessel. So your ancestors speak to the inner light within you, the power within you to reform yourself and reform the world. You have secrets, and some of these secrets are not yet unlocked in you, although according to your spiritual family, you are on the precipice. This is something you can expect to experience time. Let's see, a good way to say this. Yes, you can expect to experience this as you continue to breathe consciously. And the more consciously you breathe, the faster, the more soon, to use our linear time measurement, you will be experiencing the explosion of these insights. But you have many secrets that are being stored within your DNA and your body that are meant to activate consciousness on a broader scale. Unlike our lovely pile one, which a few of you may have been drawn to, but most of you won't, because your energy, your magic works in a completely different way. I compare it to pile one because there was a huge emphasis on communication. You are so very different, my beautiful Bloodstone, in that your communication happens non-verbally. Yours is the product of personal action, personal realization, and personal implementation, and simply being in a room. You force others to entrain, just as I'm being forced to entrain with you, but in this glorious way. I would have it no other way. But that is because I'm an individual who is on a self-professed growth and expansion path. Once again, not all will be. And so you will find yourself moved, your guides say, to places where you can expand the consciousness and then move on to the next, like a frog hopping across the lily pads, each lily pad representing a milestone marker in all of human consciousness. So if you find yourself constantly on the move, like this nomad who can't seem to settle down, your guides say, don't try to settle down. Instead, enjoy the ride and let the steadiness and the groundedness be inside of you, inside of yourself. With this secret that's in you, it's in your actual biology. So of course, we can't separate our biology, our form, from our ephemeral soul. We don't have all the tools required right now to measure this in an empirical scale. I'm being given many visions at this moment, so please bear with me for a moment. Okay, your guides are saying, don't seek to understand to me. So I won't. And this applies to you as well, although they tell me that you understand it on a level that doesn't require words to make it make sense. You're not a make it make sense type, at least not in this context. Instead, the instruction here is to nourish your body, nourish your vessel, nourish what's inside of you, especially as it comes to nutrition, because that is going to activate the biological components of your form, strengthening the effect that you have on others simply by being in their presence. With this cobra and this flame and this sustainer, there's royalty associated with your magic. There has been blood spilled for this magic. Some of you may weep or feel sorrow or angst or pain, sometimes not knowing why. And the reason for that is because of some of the trauma that's associated with the magic that you possess and carry historically. And every now and then that pops off in your consciousness and creates pain where you can't find a reason for pain to be. But breathing through that, accepting that, and then dealing with what's right in front of you in the most loving fashion is the soothing element here. There's immense peace that comes with mastering this magic. And each and every one of you, my beautiful pile too, will be in a different place on that journey. And you're getting more and more tastes of the peace with the progression of linear time. And that is exactly how it is to be. Your spirit guides and your ancestors, thank you so much for continuing to stay present, stay alive, stay incarnated in human form through the ups and downs of possessing this magic, because it is so overwhelming and it can make you feel like a pawn in your own life. But there is assurance that this is the road to mastery. So your magic is actually your tool. It's meant for you to use and for you to project your desired will onto the planet. It's simply a matter of time before your desired will aligns so synchronistically with consciousness's desired will as a whole that you begin to see these miracles unfold. And you're so close to that. In fact, you're merged with that. You're merging with that now, with this cosmic egg right front and center. So it may feel like a fight to be here at some time, but please anticipate the fight to become a flow. So let's take a look at practical implementation steps and see how you can practically activate your magic. We're going to go with the Major Arcana here. This is the Hallucinogenic Tarot Major Arcana. Ooh, it's a party in the USA. I don't know if you're in the USA, but wherever you are, I'm thankful for you. Wow, beautiful. Once again, I feel so compelled to be quiet in your presence. There's something about temples, sacredness, ritual. Your ancestors speak to a lot of ritualistic magic that you performed, they performed and you hold within you now, genetically, and as far as the consciousness that is generated through your unique combination of genetics. because every cell, every strand of DNA generates a particular type of consciousness. So our genetics quite literally project and determine and filter what type of consciousness we'll have access to on our baseline. And there was much ritualistic and sacrificial magic performed in your DNA. So that creates a lot of intensity and a lot of reverence. Oop. Yeah, so processing grief and death, we see that here, strongly represented. And then back of the deck here, illuminating the truth. Yeah, this is you, illuminating the truth. That's your thing. You just, it's not something you have to say. It's just something that you are. All right. Let's go. Okay. So practical advice for you. I'm going to go ahead and flip over all of your affirmations. First, I'm going to read them. So let's read what's on the spread. And thank you so much for your patience here. I really appreciate you breathing with me and allowing it to unfold. We have the Lovers, Justice, Death, Temperance, and Strength as our major arcana cards that have to do with your practical activation of your unique brand of magic. Then we have Greeting Wellness under the Lovers. We have Asking for Angelic Support under Justice. We have Processing Grief under Death. And we have Expanding Inner Power under Temperance. And beneath Strength as our back of the deck card, we have Illuminating the Truth. So, with the Lovers and Greeting Wellness, balance is the key to a life of infinite miracles. The Lovers is a very balanced card. It is number 6. It has to do with choices. It has to do with connection with others. It has to do with letting other people in, with unity, with duality consciousness. I'm going to go ahead and flip them all over because the message is not linear. Wow. To be in your presence, my beautiful Bloodstone crew, my goodness. Privilege. Okay, so there's a lot of grief to be processed here with you, my beautiful friend. And the grief comes from, in part, a lot of ancestral trauma with blood ritual sacrifice and with this element of death that comes with your magic. It means you've experienced loss across all lifetimes, particularly in this one, because this is where we are now. And where we are now in this sacred, precious moment is the totality of all that's ever been and all that will ever be. So fast forward or go backward, it doesn't matter. In this moment, your magic carries the power of death, which has caused you to leave a lot behind. It's caused you to move forward when you didn't want to move forward, when you weren't ready to move forward. It's caused you to wonder why you're the target of pain sometimes, when you weren't understanding that it's actually your magical essence that brings it with that because of the strength that is contained within you. So there's a huge message here from your ancestors who are coming through the most prominently in your reading. Your spirit guides popped in. We had the Egyptian parallel life. We have the divine, of course, overseeing the reading, but really it's your ancestors who are communicating with you primarily. And they're saying it's your great strength, internal strength, that allows you to carry with you this type of magic that is so transformative. And it's important to note that I felt moved to use a major arcana only tarot deck to read out practical implementation for your magic. Major arcana carries the most energetic weight in the tarot, and that's all we're using here because your energetic weight is so significant. So there's grieving that must be done. This is, in the act of journaling, very important, if you can, to write down your grievances and write down your pain and make it real and tangible. If it remains in your magical system, if it remains in your aura unlooked at, unacknowledged, and unwritten down, will continue to fill your life with loss in areas where you don't want to lose. So your ancestors say, write it down, journal, please. Express the pain, grieve for what you've lost, grieve for what you've desired and never gained. Honor the pain in you, all kinds of pain from workouts, pain from injury, pain from accidents, pain from divorce, pain from the death of loved ones, children, parents, aunts, uncles, cousins, friends, family members. Write it down, honor it, because it's incredibly transformative, powerful energy that needs to be breathed out of you through action. Whoa, that was crazy. All the candles just... But truly, that is that wiggle of the light. That's actually exactly how it is. Your exhale of letting go of this grief allows your magic to take on a new taste, and you begin to see the resurrective, if there is such a word, properties of death instead of simply the loss properties of death. So there will be not as many minuses, not as many subtractions, more addition, and it just creates balance. That moves us over to justice. It's this idea that we need to create balance. My angels respond when I am open and authentic about how I feel. You are an incredibly strong person, my beautiful pile 2. It does not require you to act like you're an incredibly strong person. If you are looking at this reading and saying, wow, this is news to me, like, yeah, I've lost stuff, I guess. Like, my life has changed, but I've never really felt the pain. I don't really have anything to grieve. Your ancestors say that is an adaptive trait that goes back generations, many, many, many generations to prehistoric time, in which you adapted to really steeling yourself as this tower, not stealing STEALING. Nothing was being taken, although in a way your authenticity was. Stealing as in the element, the metal of steel. This idea that I am impenetrable, inconquerable. I'm just stoic. I feel nothing. I'm just strong. I'm a muscled or, powerful temple of never being vulnerable. So your ancestors say, the cycle ends with you. Let's break that curse. Practical implementation is allowing yourself to feel. So we have journaling, and now we have a recommendation for therapy, talking to somebody, in conversation, being open about how you feel about any given thing that's being said, or if you're reflecting on something that's happened, you're being honest about how you felt about it, not what you thought about it, how you felt about it. Big distinction here that your guides are asking you to create justice in, because this is going to lead to your temperance. It's going to lead to your peace, healing, and wellness later. So the request is get honest about your feelings, get honest about your emotions, because this is the area where there has been a lack of acknowledgement, a lack of evolution. So your energy, your magic is going to be so much more potent and so much more what is this? Penetrative. Thank you. When you activate the emotions piece of your consciousness. And you know what's so interesting about that is that emotions are typically associated with receptivity and femininity. And, sorry, as I move my leg here. The constant shifts of the little reader. Emotions are so associated with femininity and receptivity. And yet by acknowledging the feminine receptive aspects of you and working on them and expressing them, it's going to strengthen your projective qualities. So when we talked about that, I could feel your magic in the room with me go from just kind of caressing the exteriority of me to actually merging with my aura and getting inside of my space. And that's interesting because were it to do that to its full extent, that means you will walk into a room and actually generate DNA upgrades and genetic upgrades for the other people without saying or doing a thing, just by being in your presence. That's the gift that you have here. That is the result of millennia of sacrifice, pain, death, and bloodshed. There's a lot of warrior here as well. Like your ancestors have warriors who were I'm thinking of Vikings, but I don't know jack about Vikings. But I don't know why I'm seeing Vikings with brutal weaponry and like just a lot of bloodshed, really. But in this really honoring, kind of holy, sacred way. Like it was never careless, and it was never, well, it was cruel at times, but it was never careless or thoughtless. It was all intentional, and it was with the understanding that violence breeds a certain kind of power. And now all that power lives in you. But see, there's no need to take life anymore. Now you have the ability with your magic to give life. With the Lovers here, and balance is the key to a life of infinite miracles, of course. Your generational karma, your magic is now balanced by expressing the pain of loss, expressing the truth of your emotions, and now giving rise to the creation of new life within others simply by virtue of being present in their space. With temperance, finally, we get to balance moderation. I am my most powerful when my creativity is given a voice. Yes. Oh my goodness. Okay, things are starting to move in my room, so we're going to kind of close it up soon. It's your powerful magic, baby, and I'm honored to have it with me. But I will be returning it to sender very soon. Your creativity is essential. And we saw the creator come up in the description of how your magic works. You can simply look at a thing and transform it. Your ancestors here are saying, interesting. Take the pain, give it a voice. Carrie Fisher, the great Carrie Fisher, also known as Princess Leia in one of her, I think, most recognizable roles probably in the Star Wars franchise, said something to the effect of, take your broken heart and turn it into art. And this is the request. Now there's no need for bloodshed anymore, although you may have a military background, or you may work in a hospital, you may have taken life or given life or witnessed death. Whatever the case is, you're being asked to express on a creative level. And every being is a creative being. But your particular magic is going to take on so much more power for your will to be done in this world as it benefits the collective when you really grab a blank canvas and throw yourself onto it. It doesn't matter how you do it. I'm hearing photography, I'm hearing painting, I'm hearing poetry, I'm hearing you could be making short films. Take your iPhone or Android or whatever. It doesn't matter if it's grainy. The kids are into grainy videos now. It blows my mind. But it's a thing. It doesn't matter about the quality. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Maybe you're making a music video or writing a song. Or maybe your art is as simple as washing the dishes of your house and then taking a picture of the clean kitchen and posting it. Like there's some kind of catharsis about you making before and after photos, cataloging. If you're already a professional photographer, I see that some of you may already photograph models professionally, so you're very familiar with that eye contact we were discussing. Use your powers for good, your ancestors say, please, and create with the intention of raw authenticity. Your strength will only enhance, your magic is only going to increase the realer you get with creation. And whether you share that creation or not is completely up to you. It never has to be shared. Part of your creative process can be burning it when you're done in a very safe manner. But you're being asked to step into a lifestyle of creativity because there is much to balance here in terms of death that is associated with your magic. And your magic will become this life-giving force, this vortex of clockwise centric energy that just builds and builds and builds and realizes the potential in yourself and others when it is given that creative voice. So beautiful soul, that is where we are leaving it today. It's been an absolute pleasure to read for you, to bask in your energy. Throw us a like if you're into it. Maybe even a subscription if you want a key to the Little Reader's House to come back. Don't forget that the ritual accompanying this reading is available in the Patreon for the low, low price of $11 and maybe 11 cents. I can't remember. Either way, 11 is somewhere in there per month to get, I don't know, that's not the Little Reader's House. That's into the Little Reader's mind. So up to you, but I am sending you all the love I've got. Until we meet again, beautiful soul, you are so very worthy of it. Bye for now. Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome to your reading. It is such an honor and privilege to have you here, my glorious Rose Quartz crew. I'm going to set you off to the side with a reminder that you are so very worthy of love. More love, never less. Surrender to the divine, eh? What you didn't know about this card, beautiful soul, is that it was pulled with the intention of understanding how your magic feels to be basking in. So I have summoned your magic, with your permission, into this space to get a feel for how it affects those around you, how it affects the world. And I can already feel the roundness and the curvature and the femininity of it. It is actually depicted here on this card so very gloriously as a pulling force, a magnetic force. If I could give your magic a word, one word, darling, it would be magnetic. Your strength lies in your ability in your magic's ability to draw in and pull into you what it desires. And I actually feel as if there's been a rope. If you've ever seen this movie, oh my goodness, what's it called? It's, I believe it's a Frank Capra film. I believe it's a Christmas movie. I think it's called It's a Wonderful Life. And Jimmy Stewart plays a character who I believe has a spouse named Mary. Spoilers. And at some point he's like, lasso the moon. Lasso the moon. Like, I think she says to him, like, give me the moon or something to this effect. And that's exactly what I'm seeing here. Long story short, darling, you're lassoing me. You are the moon. It's coming from the opposite direction. It's as if the moon looked down at Jimmy Stewart, threw a lasso around him, and yanked him up into the stratosphere. And that is the magnetism of you. Your energy is associated with the maiden archetype of the mother, maiden, crone trio of feminine energy. With this maiden, there's also an emphasis on cannabinoids and the cannabinoid system. Your magic works like cannabis. If you're familiar with this drug, let me describe it to you. I mean, if you're not, but if you are, then we're going to both enjoy this even more. Getting high. A course with the little reader. So taking a hit off of your magic is like taking a hit off of a joint that has no burn and no cough, and yet it permeates the deepest layer of your lungs, and it washes over you this feeling of warmth, relaxation, soothing in the physical body, mixed with this electric activation of the mental body. So it's a really harmonious effect. I suppose we'd be talking about a hybrid strain here. And if it sounds like I smoke a lot of weed, I don't. But we're channeling you, and we're channeling those who appreciate the medicine right now. So thank you to all those who are contributing energetically. When this strain hits, or when your magic hits somebody, they are taken aback by how at ease they feel in your presence, and how nurtured and how safe they feel, because you're not going to attack them with any kind of action. You're not going to attack them with any kind of demand or expectation. And yet you are magnetically relaxing them to such a degree that they will surrender and submit to your will. It's like, you know, what it's also like is anesthesia. Anesthesia, not to be confused with Anastasia. Like an anesthetic, you have this effect, your magic has this effect to numb and relax. It's like laughing gas. Okay, here we go with all the drugs. I don't know what kind of drugs you use or don't use, but you are the drug, my beautiful rose quartz. So just let's roll with it. It's like laughing gas in that suddenly everyone's relaxed and goofy and giddy, but like laughing gas that doesn't knock you unconscious. In an interesting way, you get into the brain and stimulate it. When you shine your light, another thing is you can cause people to hallucinate and see things that they, like, see illusions and see shadows. Your magic, the effect that it has on people, is to disarm them and then activate them. And I'm being given this image. It's a human interaction between people I don't recognize, never seen them. And one, this is the you character, is having this conversation with the others. The others are relaxed, they're listening, they're engaged, but like in a very mellow, chill way. The interaction ends, and then once your magic mist disperses or dissipates, they're like lightning rod electricity motivated with clarity that came because their defenses were down and they were able to receive what you were giving to them. So in a way, you have this after effect energy, which also as an artist, you may be a graphic designer, some of you. I'm seeing Adobe After Effects is coming through too. Like, you have the same thing happens with your art. When you create art or imagery, people see it and they're like, oh, but they don't realize how moved they're being by it until after they shut it off, scroll past it on the Instagram feed. Of course, they give it a like first, and then go about their day, and it's like it resurfaces it resurfaces consciously, but it penetrated all the way to their subconscious. Your magic works by giving an injection to the people, places, and things that you interact with without them consciously realizing it. And then when you're well, good, and gone, they come alive with whatever you've injected into them. It's so... I've never encountered anything like this before. I mean, no, I haven't. I was going to say, like, yes, I have. No, I haven't. So yeah, it's so cool though. I love it. Very, very interesting. So I'm going to pop you over here and let's get a look at how your energy works from your guides, ancestors, the divine itself, whoever wants to come through, past relatives, I'm hearing might be a thing, extraterrestrials. Let's just see. Because now my curiosity is off the chats. Yeah, don't ever ask me to do a Boston accent. I don't even know if that was Boston. Are you from Boston? I feel kind of funny too. Something about you as a comedian. There's a lightness here, and I think that's part of your disarming mechanism. Your magic, it brings with it a lightness and a levity, which we talked about in the intro. And with that lightness and levity, it allows people to go into this buoyant float, like a float space, like a... isolation tank chamber, and when they're floating, you're activating them. Your magic is bringing them somewhere. It's doing something to them, which is just really cool on every level. So we carry on. Let's see how your magic works, because we know how it feels. Wow. I'm just so uplifted in this space right now. Like, I really do feel so relaxed in your magic, like so safe, kind of cradled, like I'm a baby. And the thing is, I said you were the maiden version of the maiden essence of the Mother Maiden Crone trio, but there is a little bit of maternal energy here. A little bit of a Cancerian, Piscean water. But yeah, when I was connecting it to elements, I actually didn't really get... I got light, I got space, I got Akasha as your element. I believe that's space. Don't quote me, or do. I gotta take responsibility for what I say. So I guess, yeah, quote me. And if it's wrong, I'll just cry about it. Oh yeah, smoke. See, Akasha, space. Oh my gosh, conjunction. Ash. Woo! I'm not trying to play favorites. I'm not going to say anything about favorites. I'm just not. But I am fascinated. Okay, what we do back of the deck? Ooh, okay. So vinegar, not meant to apply to you, but it's going to be relevant later. And fog, yeah. So smoke and fog. This is what I was talking about with the okay. Spirit just wanted me to take that off. The vinegar is not relevant to you. What we needed to see was fog, and there is this quality again, like this laughing gas or. Not that. It's just like a creeping, Twilight reference. This is as my friend would say, a deep cut into a fandom that you may know nothing about. So let me help you. In the Twilight world, there is a set of twins who are part of this Italian mafia of vampires, and one of them has the ability to release a smoke or a fog and affect people with it. And the main character of the Twilight series refers to this fog as, oh my goodness, what does she call it? Like Novocaine. And this is similar to your magic, beautiful soul. And this is not, for the record, this is incredible. Don't be shy. Like, we're comparing you to drugs, but in the most respectful way. Okay, we're taking this and we're setting it off to the side. It is no longer Relly. And we're going to look at Spirit. What do you want to show us? Of course, of course. We'll use this deck. Oh, I can see I reversed it. So let's just surrender to that choice and go full bore and see. What does Spirit want us to see about the way your magic works? How does my beautiful pile 3? How does their magic work? How does your garden grow? Interesting. 6 of Wands, 8 of Pentacles, Page of Cups, of course, King of Pentacles, Page of Wands. Not a sword in the bunch. 3 of Pentacles. Yeah, this is not a mental thing. This is so interesting. Okay. 3 of Pentacles. Let us make room, yeah? Okay. So, yeah, your magic comes off of your body like an echo, like sound, like striking a tuning fork, and then the resonance, the frequency moves through you, you can't even feel it, or you can't even hear it, I'm sorry, sometimes with a tuning fork. It's like an imperceptible sound, interestingly. Okay, so this is why Akasha, and this is why no element. The way your magic works is beyond the elements. I can't compare it to earth, wind, or fire, a music reference. But no, I can't compare it to earth, I can't compare it to air, or fire, or water. And even though we have elements, of course, the tarot is made of the elements, we're at a little bit of a disadvantage because the way your magic works, and it's not a huge disadvantage, but the way your magic works isn't quantifiable. It's not human. It's not earthly, okay? It's very of the stars. It's very spacey. It's very extraterrestrial-y. It's elements that we don't have a familiarity with in this human plane. Wow, why do I just want to go unconscious right now? I love that. I'm grabbing some crystals with my left hand now that my left hand's gone because I am remaining conscious for the purposes of this reading. But wow, when you unleash your magic, it is very powerful, and I understand why it wants to put me to sleep, and I understand why it's like Novocaine and laughing gas and cannabis, like this heavy high strain of cannabis, because the way it works is actually to activate your astral body, my astral body. So what my body is trying to do is to shut me down and shut me up, which I get. But it's trying to close off all my faculties so that I can go unconscious and so that my astral body can come meet yours. Such a cool invitation, which I appreciate very much. This type of magic is working constantly on the astral planes. So for those of you who are familiar, the astral planes are a location in the non-physical dimensions where you can experience a softer version of formed reality. You can do dream work in the astral planes. You can see the non-physical representation of forms that we interact with on the 3D. For example, in the astral plane, you can see the parallel reality of, let's say, my house. If you wanted to come look, I mean, you're here right now, you're in my house, so let's use it. Let's say you wanted to come to my house in the astral planes, you could easily do that. There is a version of my house that exists there, except it's non-physical. So you can visit with your astral body. It's kind of like the in-between in Stranger Things, if you're familiar with this reference. There are many fictional references to the astral planes, but the best way I can say it is a dimension in time-space reality that is the consciousness equivalent, the sister of formed reality, and you can play with elements of this reality in that reality. It's much like a dream. I'm back to grabbing the crystals because I am attempting to stay focused and not fall over unconscious. So don't mind me, darling. A grounding breath. Okay, so your magic works primarily on the astral plane. Dream work is huge for you. Doing things in your dreams is Oh, and that's what we got to do. Okay, thank you, Spirit. So your Spirit and your guides are telling me in order to get through this reading, I have to act like it's a dream. So this is interesting because I do enjoy dream work. So you do much of your work in dreams, creating and destroying objects, reliving events that you've experienced and events that you have yet to experience. And actually what you'll do, the way your magic works is, let's say you have a traumatic or an unpleasant experience. You will then relive it in the dream world and correct it, change it, modify it to unfold in a less traumatic way, or to create healing. So let's say you have an argument with a loved one in real life and it shattered the relationship. You'll then go into your astral plane in your dream body. Your dream body will go into the astral realms. You will reconnect with that very individual and have a harmonious discussion of what unfolded. You will forgive one another. You will both experience profound healing, and then you will return to the physical realm and often not remember that happened at all. But sleep is very important to you. The way your magic works, I can't emphasize this enough. You could easily spend your type of gift, your type of magic, you as a person could easily spend 12 hours awake and 12 hours asleep, and that could be like this beautiful way of life for you. And unfortunately, our social system is not set up with that kind of flexibility right now for most. Depends on who you are, depends on your socioeconomic status, naturally. However, many people wouldn't find it feasible to have that great of a split, but for the way your magic functions and the way it works, the more sleep, the better for you. And this could involve, okay, maybe you get 5 or 6 hours of sleep a night if you're lucky, I heard somebody say. Okay. Take a nap. Meditation. Whatever it is, your astral body needs to be free, because your astral body is where your magic resides. Yeah. Okay. So, with the Six of Wands and the Eight of Pentacles, interestingly, things happen on the astral planes before they happen on the physical realm of form. Our 3D reality is kind of the last place in time and space where things manifest, which is cool. It gives us really unique learning opportunities, and it gives us the opportunity to really develop and foster our relationship with the element of time, the magic of time. Separate convo for separate time. However, connecting to your magic, you have a lot of good luck in this reality, because the work you do on the astral planes in your sleep and just during the day, because your astral body, it seems to me you tend to dissociate a lot, not intentionally, but also alcohol is another drug that we could compare your magic to in a way. And I can see that if you drink, one of the reasons why is because it reminds you of what it's like to be in your astral body. So there's like this comfort factor to it. But going back to this, the work you do on the astral planes is so profound that you have good luck in this third dimensional reality a lot of the time for seemingly no reason, and you seem to manifest things easily for seemingly no reason, but it's actually because you put in a lot of work in your sleep. You put in a lot of work in your astral body. The way your magic works is you have this success because of continued effort in the astral realms. Your guides would like you to attend to lucid dreaming and attend to present moment consciousness so that you could actually watch the work you do in the astral realms, because many of you don't remember it, but your guides would like you to see it so that you can be proud of yourself, is what they're saying. And that is so cute. That is so precious. They want you to, because you're like, sometimes I see you're like, what did I do to deserve this? Or how did I get so lucky? Or how did I get this or that? I don't know. Like maybe I'm just blessed, but I don't always feel blessed. It just kind of comes out of nowhere, but it's your collaboration with this astral realm and the work that your spirit and the contract that your soul has with doing this work that gives you this good luck. But it's not good luck, it is earned luck. That's what your guides are saying. Like the way your magic works, it may seem to you that you have no control over it, but you most certainly do. The way you can control it and the way you can tap into it is by developing a relationship with your astral body. This means body scan meditations. This means lucid dreaming work. This means reality checks throughout your day. If you've ever done lucid dreaming work, you know there's the hand check. Like every hour an alarm goes off and you count your fingers and you stare at your hand. And you get so into the habit of doing that when you're in dreams, you start looking at your hand, and it like brings your mental, egoic, third dimensional self to that astral self and merges them so that you can have a holistic full body experience. So this is how your magic operates. It comes out of your heart chakra, it comes out of your third eye, really every chakra on your body. And with this conjunction, it takes what you learn in the third dimension and it shares it with people in the astral planes. And then from the astral planes, it takes information and brings it back to the third dimension. With this Three of Pentacles, it's very collaborative. And the reason your magic works the way it does is because you do so much in your astral body that you've agreed to bring that back to us. So you're a person who is often known as effortlessly wise, or just someone who has these insights or makes observations that are really keen. And even you are mystified by it. Even you are baffled sometimes. Like, I don't know how I knew that. I have no idea. You also have this thing with memories where you have memories, but they're not from the third dimension. So you're like, that's weird. I don't know why I remember that. You'll see moments happen and it's not deja vu. A lot of people call it deja vu, but truly it's not. It's similar, but it's not. And this happens to you all the time, which is you will experience a moment in present reality that you remember having already seen. And again, most people would say, oh, that's deja vu. Deja vu is a separate phenomenon. This is you remembering an event that you experienced in the astral before it manifested. But because your astral body is so strong and so present, it registered the memory into your brain, into your, well, memory isn't stored in the brain, it's etched in the brain, but into the synapses and your organ material and into your cells. And then when that event does happen in present time, sometime linearly later, you remember having already experienced it already. Again, not deja vu. This is different, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about if you're you, of course, which you are. So this is how your magic works. It's beautifully astral. Let's find out some practical stuff about how to make the most of it and implement it. And then we will call it a DAY or an NIGHT or an afternoon. Depends, on when you're watching. I'm having so much fun with you, pile 3. You don't even know. Okay, how will we do? I feel, what's the saying? A day late and a dollar short. Like, I don't have the deck I want. So I guess we're going to bust out this. We're going to bust out this deck. And we're going to bust out this interesting combo. Thank you. Yeah, there's something about... This is as close as we get. That's funny. This is as close as your astral body is telling me this. That's as close as we get. With that conjunction... Yeah. It's like the merging happens when you're unconscious. When your body is unconscious. Right now, this is about as close as we get while being conscious and awake. For now. Our time-space reality needs a little bit more time and space to catch up with where you are, pile 3. The mirror. Okay, so we're looking at practical ways to work with your magic. To activate your magic. The village, the shadow, the heart, the dead end, the starborn, and one more, it's the mother. Oh yeah. For some reason, oh yeah, came up. Cannot explain that one. Okay. Your guides and your ancestors are kind of quiet because your astral body is the spirit guide of other people. It's interesting. So your astral body is actually the spirit guide of some of your family and friends. This is called being a full-time light worker, by the way. If you didn't know what that was, or you were just spirituality curious when you clicked into this video, boy, do you have an exciting time ahead of you. And if you do know what that is, you're like, yeah, I know, little reader, I'm tired all the time. Yeah, I feel that. Okay, so looking for practical solutions here, Spirit. Practical solutions. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, interesting. Okay. So... nurturing of yourself. Mother work. Self-care is huge for you, my beautiful pile 3. It's going to be about making your home a place that feels safe. Your home, your living space needs to resemble an area that is so comfortable and so safe physically and emotionally for you that there is nothing about it that makes you uncomfortable when you come home. With the village and the mother corresponding, coinciding here, as well as I am worthy of all the pleasure my heart desires, it's essential that you have cozy bed. Oh, of course. Okay, so I'm seeing your bed. It's like, it's not just your home, it's your bedroom, it's your bed. If you sleep with a partner right now, good news and bad news. The good news is lucky them, because when we have an active astral traveler next to a non-active astral traveler, you can co-opt or co-work your dreams together. So it's like you go on a mission together. You can actually recruit the person who sleeps next to you into your dreams, which is very fun and nice for them because it can accelerate their expansion. But the problem is neither of you will sleep well most of the time. So something practical is get your own bedroom. I know, weird. Could be difficult to implement, but it is what Spirit wants you to know, is that you either go to sleeping on the couch or they go to sleeping on the couch, or you don't full-time sleep together because of all the work that you do in your sleep. If you do sleep with a partner and you want to actually make an intentional practice of sleeping with them, you can choose a couple of nights a week that you do and be like, okay, on this night and this night, we will sleep side by side with an intention of X, Y, or Z. However, if you could sleep by yourself most of the time and make your bed comfortable, cozy, or whatever your sleeping environment is, as attuned to rest as you can, a dark room, a cool room. Look up sleep hygiene. This is essential for you, my beautiful rose quartz. Sleep hygiene with the shadow and the darkness. This is about optimizing your space, because your body, your mind, your spirit, they're on a mission they've already agreed to, and your consciousness and your personality are kind of along for the ride. Like your third dimensional, whatever your name is, and the personality you've cultivated to survive in this world are along for the ride, whereas your spirit has already got a lot figured out and is on a mission. In a way, and this is true of many souls, you are not alone in this, my beautiful pile 3. Some souls come to incarnate into physical bodies to do the work of pulling information from the astral realm, and then in their daily life sowing it like seeds. It's almost like harvesting from the sky, which is back to you being the space. Space is your place. Write that one down. But it's going into... You go into the stars and you harvest like someone would go into a garden and harvest fruit and then bring it to the dinner table to eat it. You go to the stars and you harvest wisdom and you bring it to humankind to implement it. But you need darkness for that. You need rest for that. It's something your spirit's already committed to. So now it's time for you to simply align your lifestyle to doing so, and realizing that you have this calling and accepting and running with that. I am more fulfilled when there is less to manage and maintain. Please make time for sleep. Please make time for darkness and rest. If you have any difficulties with insomnia, please look into medicines and aligned for you solutions for treating insomnia. This would be of the utmost importance at this time because of how critical sleep is to your health and well-being. Another thing is aging. Spirit says, and actually your guides are popping in for this one in case it's been a concern of yours, individuals with this soul calling actually have the gift of aging physically a lot more slowly than their counterparts. This is not for cosmetic or aesthetic reasons. This is because it is kind of the gift of dabbling in the astral realm and bringing back that information. It has an effect on the cells of your body, and that effect creates longevity, it creates hydration, and it also has to do with the amount of sleep that you're getting. Typically, individuals with this calling naturally prioritize sleep. They understand that they're the type who just needs to sleep more, needs to nap, needs to rest, needs to chill, needs to slow down, needs to imbibe on a medicine, or just kind of slow their heart rate. It's natural. So if it's not already natural to you, your spirit guides assure me that when you put a little bit of effort toward prioritizing your sleep and your rest, things will click into place a lot easier than you think. And if you've had chronic insomnia and you make an effort now with this spiritually oriented background to resolve that, you're going to experience a lot more success because your spirit wants to harmonize that purpose with your life, harmonize that purpose with your mission, harmonize that purpose with your experience. With the heart, my angels respond when I am open and authentic about how I feel. Please understand that your magic is not limited to the astral planes. Your magic is not locked up and exclusive to the astral planes. On the contrary, au contraire, my dear, you have so much power in this third dimensional reality. The thing is, it's a little bit, preemptive is not the right word, precursory, it's a little bit premature in that we're lining up so quickly with a rate of speed in this reality that you and I are sharing right now. We've accelerated, you know it, we all know it, everyone's talking about it in this community. Everyone's like, we're accelerating, time's moving, the consciousness is faster, and everyone's been saying that forever, and it's like the constant battle cry of every psychic and sensitive ever. So I won't go all nuts on that again. However, your gifts and some of your abilities, although they're alive within you, we need time of this reality to catch up just a little bit more before they can explode onto the surface. Because it's right now there's like a slight compatibility issue. Imagine having an iPhone that's one generation behind the current iPhone model. You're the current iPhone model, the best, the brightest, the newest shiny thing. And our time-space reality is one itty-bitty hair behind. So your operating software is slightly too advanced to run on the hardware that we are operating on right now. All of this to say, nurture your gifts, nurture your authenticity, rest when you need to rest, go after what you want to go after, choose the career, choose the people, choose the environment, choose everything that you want to choose, and follow your heart, essentially. And know that if you feel limited by the constraints of our current reality, that's a temporary limitation. Implement your gifts where you can to the degree that you can. No, you cannot teleport right now. That's okay. Take a plane. Still go where you want to go. No, you cannot telepathically communicate with everyone right now. That's okay. Pick up the phone, give them a call. No, you can't levitate right now. That's okay. Sit in cross-legged position of choice and meditate in your crown chakra and get the version of levitation that's available to you. You've seen greatness, you've seen higher technology, there's a very Aquarian vibe to you. You know what we're capable of. Don't be disappointed by that knowledge. Be inspired by that knowledge, and then use the technology that's available to us to the capability that you can. This is the most practical implementation of your magic. With the dead end and the light is always within me, this is a reiteration of the same concept. You've seen things, you've felt things. You touch the fifth dimension all the time. In fact, you even go higher than that in the astral plane, astral realms. So this third dimensional life may be depressing as shit for you sometimes. Your guides want you to remember the light is always within you, and actually your experience, your emotional state that you reside in here on the third dimension influences the type of phenomena that you experience. So, said in a more practical fashion, if you slip into a depression and a disappointment about not being able to materialize the magic that you've witnessed with your magic here, your guides ask you to instead be inspired by what you've seen and create where you can with the Starborn, knowing that your excitement actually helps hearken in and bring in that upgraded magic and that upgraded technology that you've witnessed. So in other words, don't pout. Let it out. Yeah. Someone trademark that. The light is always within you. Your light of consciousness actually dictates the level of reality. By the same token, there are hardware limits for a reason on this reality. Believe me, your girl has tried to break them many a time. And take comfort in knowing that your magic, which is working always on the astral realms, is breaking them all the time. This is another reason why, practically speaking, it would behoove you immensely to become familiar with lucid dreaming, so that you can actually enjoy the fruits of your astral labor consciously and remember it and have fun with it. That was, in this exact instance, I will let you know this has been a road that I've experienced firsthand, and by developing lucid dreaming, you have the satisfaction of knowing what you did. You can watch material transform before your eyes, you can levitate and undo all the things, and then remember it, and that's very gratifying. If you forget, it's like you're constantly reaching for something that you feel like you can never get with the dead end. So that was actually a little reader piece, a nugget of recommendation for you. Finally, with the Starborn and conflict reminds me when I need more space for myself. You walk a lonely road, the only road that you have ever known. There is an element of loneliness here with this type of magic. The way your magic works is, well, it has much of your being and your essence in offloaded dimensions, like in the cloud. So you come back to Earth and it's like, man, am I just a weirdo or what? The divine says, not a weirdo, a trailblazer. And yeah, maybe a weirdo. And there's nothing wrong with that. We need everyone who is in this space experiencing this type of magic to share it. A practical implementation for your magic is to tell people what it's like to be you. Express it through art. Express it through creativity. When you find yourself in conflict between the dense material part of you and the ephemeral, fifth dimensional astral side of you, understand that there is no conflict. You're seeing two parts of the same whole. One is in form, one is out of form, but they are mirrors to one another. I do believe the mirror card slipped itself out really briefly when we were shuffling for you. It applies. There is no conflict. There is only wholeness and sameness. So release the frustration that you're feeling in this ascension process and instead say, this sacred, holy moment that I'm in is conflict free. Whether you come alive in the middle of an astral experience and you're suddenly conscious, or you're conscious right here in the third dimensional reality we share with one another, it's a perfect moment. It is conflict free. The loneliness is the byproduct of not sharing this experience. If you can share this, if you can start a blog, if you can tell people what it's like, if you can talk more about your dreams, if you can start a group for dreamers or lucid dreamers, or if you can get into a community like this one in the comments down below and say, yo, I have some whack-ass dreams every night. Here's what it's like. Did you know, beautiful soul, that this community is going to jump on you like just the most loving barrel of monkeys and tell you how much we love you? This is a supportive place to be you. There are so many places like this on the internet. So use the neural network of the internet to connect with like-minded, or even those who cannot relate but are so fascinated by it, because you are never alone. You have the little reader, that's me. You have our entire family, but more importantly, you have all of humanity, which we are not separate from. So nix the loneliness, choose to share, choose to be yourself, and enjoy the fruits of that experience, because it is going to strengthen your magic. It is going to redefine your course in life. It is going to recrystallize and center and focus you on what's important to your heart. And it is going to help you to manifest the destiny that is in that heart, which is greatly oriented toward the collective. You're such a servant and such a giver and such a pilgrim for the entire world. You are a trailblazer and a trendsetter, and we desperately need you. So please take care of you and love you accordingly. That is where we are leaving it for today, beautiful soul. It's been an honor to read for you. Thank you for trusting me with your energy. Throw us a like, throw us a subscribe, throw us a comment, whatever you want to throw us. And when I say us, I just mean me and my multiple selves. Until we meet again, beautiful soul, I am sending you all the love I've got. Bye for now. Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome to your reading. It is such an honor and pleasure to have you here. I'm going to take your beautiful Danburite talisman and set you over to the side with the reminder that you are so very worthy of love. More love, never less. Let's take a look at your card, which, little did you know, is symbolic of how your energy appears, how your magic manifests to the people, places, and things that you encounter with work through your fears. New moon in Scorpio. Okay. I'm feeling into your magic. The first watery magic that we've encountered. Can you believe that? And it is like, I'm immediately drawn to the beach. I'm immediately drawn to the shoreline, to the lapping of waves on the shoreline over my feet, to crabs running. There's movement, but there's also immense peace and immense depth. How it feels to be in your magic is to be in a room that is free of furniture, free of clutter. There's a simplicity to it. There's a darkness, a low lighting element to it. There's clarity, but also order. The room is very square. The logic that I'm feeling in this description of wanting to make it an understandable, observable vision or image for you is like your magic wants to put things into order. Your magic wants to organize. And the quality of water is to cleanse. You have this cleansing quality of let's wash away. Let's wipe away what was. Let's create something new, and always within perfect rhythm and order, like a pendulum swinging, or oh my goodness, what is this thing that we use in music? Musicians use it to tell the rhythm or the beat. A metronome. You're a metronome. You're steady. To be in your magic is to feel like there is a reality that is reliable, that what you said or what you meant, that what you said is what you meant. Your magic allows worlds to rise up. I'm seeing Christopher Nolan references all over the place. I'm getting Inception when we're in a dream state and there are buildings rising up at the behest of the mental, whoever's running the dream, like they want it, boom, the buildings are there. I'm also seeing Christopher Nolan's Interstellar, which is this idea of space, but the space isn't what applies to you. It's kind of the way Christopher Nolan's mind works. If you're a Christopher Nolan fan, like cha-ching ching, you are in the right place. If you're not, well, you're still in the right place. So I don't know, we'll have to figure that one out later. But there's this merging of creativity and order and harmony. Now, was Christopher Nolan responsible for Oppenheimer? I do not know the answer to that question. However, I get this almost mastermind energy of a creative who knows how to work within a logical framework. And that gives you such an edge. That gives your magic such an edge on everyone else's, quite frankly, because many people fall into the realm of creator/creative or logical, analytical. in which for some it's difficult for them to be, for like our creatives over here, it can be difficult for them to be logical and analytical. For our logical and analyticals over here, it can be difficult for them to be creative. You have them both like merged. It's darkness and light. See, that's why I can't tell you that you're just a dark room, and I can't tell you that you're just space, but I also can't tell you that you're just like the sun or just like a bright room. You are a dimly lit room that is actually this perfect balance between the two ebbing, oh, and there's the ocean, there's two sides of the binary, these two sides of polarity. You are the infinity symbol. Oh, that is a powerful energy. Your magic is so well balanced that it just flows. I meant for that to be deeper, but it just be like that sometimes. So we're going to set you over here, my beautiful Danburite. Look at you, by the way. Can we just take a moment to appreciate the gorgeousness of this stone? The clarity, oh, it makes perfect sense. And the Danburite is a stone of higher chakra functioning, but this celestial functioning is also totally integrated throughout the body. Danburite's a very special, interesting stone, and I would recommend looking it up if you have the chance. We are going to now take a look at the way your magic works. So we know what your magic feels like. When an individual is in the presence of your magic, they feel organized. They feel steady. They feel like they can think clearly. It's interesting, like, if you've ever been driving and felt you need to turn the music off so you can think when you're looking for a parking spot, that's how people feel when they get into your presence. They feel like they can actually be, ooh, I love that this is popping out, the golden rose. They feel like they can actually be still and pause and have a mental respite because your mental body is so clear, your energetic body is so clear, your magic is so orderly. So let's see how it works. Let's get the inside scoop, and we're going to combine, we're going to do a new combination because I'm really feeling drawn to pull the hallucinogenic major arcana in here. Ooh, interesting. The sun and Mars popping out briefly there. Now that's the personality of those cards. So we will see if that has to do with you or if they're just saying hi. I think you also give people the opportunity to be themselves, to shine, and you know how to recognize talents. Like if you're overseeing a group, you know who's going to work well together. And you could be a casting director. I always take it back to the film industry because I have links, so it's ever present in my consciousness. But you could be a casting director, you could be simply in a completely different industry, a boss, a CEO, or a manager, a supervisor, a hiring director. You could work in HR, you could not work at all. You could be do a different type of work, head of a family, or head of an organization or a nonprofit, or even the head of your social circle, and you just have a gift for knowing how people are going to play well together or not. Okay, let's see how your energy works. Ah, mystical sister in the same position as pile 1. Whoa, and benevolent guide. These cards are so similar to one another. That is so interesting. Sap of the moon plant, of course, there's that darkness. Oh, the raven's head making perfect sense. And we're going to put Jupiter right over here. Yeah, lucky you. We're going to peep this card, but it's not going to come out and stay. Okay, oil of vitriol, that was also a pile 1 card. And the despicable face. Okay, cool. They're relevant, but they're not how your magic works. There's an element of them in it, but it is not meant to be focused on. But we will come back to those. Sorry, I'm moving my legs because I like to sit in such a way that they fall asleep every 20 minutes. It's an interesting choice, I will say. And yet, I don't change it, so I must love it. Let's see. Show us more. How does my beautiful pile 4's magic work? How does it function? Whoop, whoop. I'm hearing we out here trying to function. Are we? Is that what you're doing? Okay, we're going to start with the raven's head, interestingly. Nope, not that one, though. Not that. Oh, okay. Ah, the sun, the star, what? The high priestess, of course. The Wheel of Fortune, the BOD, back of the deck energy is the Magician. Wow. What a question. How does your energy work? Well, the Magician. Okay. All right. Gonna cover up your lead card a little bit, but it's still there. It's still giving us energy. It actually makes a whole lot of sense with the Magician and Jupiter here together. There's a great relationship between these two, which is like harmony. I'm gonna check the frame real quick just to make sure we're in, like Flynn. Okay, cool. So the harmony is immense in your energies, and it really makes sense with that balanced quality. I'm being drawn a lot to this yin and yang. It's a beautiful selenite and rock salt combination. I love it because you can also separate them, but today they wanted to be together. That's kind of how your energy is, just like this. It's complementary, it's harmonious, and the way your magic works is through the harmony of yin and yang forces within you that you bring into balance. Your nervous system is regulated, baby. You have what I consider to be the most impactful type of currency that we can have on this planet at this time, in this time-space reality, which is a regulated nervous system, and you've got it. A regulated nervous system means your heart rate variability, your respiration rate, your oxygen saturation, your central nervous system processing, brain, spinal cord. It is in a sort of intrinsic harmony, and there isn't really a formula that I've observed for how this gets passed out to people. You have people who come from immense privilege, financially, socioeconomically, ancestrally, genetically, socially, however, throw it down, who have very unregulated nervous systems. And then you have individuals from very traumatic backgrounds or humble beginnings or ancestral trauma who come from a discriminated against, punished, or enslaved ancestral background who have had generations of trauma, some of whom may have incredibly regulated nervous systems. So I'm not convinced that it's a purely external sort of influence, if that makes sense. It seems to me that the spirit and the soul have a distinct role in determining the type of nervous system that is given as a baseline, and then that nervous system dictates a type of physical experience. Now, can we as human beings modify our nervous system regulation, increase it and improve it? Absolutely. In fact, I would say that's a wonderful metaphor for free will, because to use your free will to regulate your own nervous system is to essentially catapult your own success in this time-space reality. You have been given, with your magic, this immense control over your nervous system. And we see it here with the yin and yang balance so well. We see it with the sun and the star, with the high priestess and the magician coming up, and the wheel of fortune and Jupiter. This is totally predestined stuff. It is, your magic has been given to you for whatever purpose you choose. I believe it's sweet Aleister Crowley. I do say sweet with humor injected, who said something to the effect of, "Do as thou wilt," I believe. Don't quote me, or do. I was just saying to another beautiful pile, I need to be responsible for what I say. So maybe do quote me, and if it's wrong, I will amend. However, that "do as thou wilt" was broadly taken, and peeps got mad about that. They were like, what kind of instruction is that? Like, do as thou wilt. That's totally amoral, immoral advertisement, especially when we're in the height of religion and there were a lot of rules about what to do and how we should act and behave. That advice from Aleister just seemed really off the wall and out of left field. But Aleister was actually speaking to individuals like you, my beautiful pile 4. Your magic is designed for you to execute your free will in this time-space reality. It is fully accessible through your will and your decision to make something so. So with the mystical sister and the benevolent guide here, the way your magic works is this combination of listening to your ancestors and your spirit guides who you can clearly hear, and you hear their voices in your own thoughts, often without fully recognizing it or attributing what you're thinking to them. I don't think you walk around all day going, oh, thanks, guide. Thanks, guide. Thanks, spirit. Thanks, ancestor. I think you've just built this really synchronistic relationship with your thoughts to where you can hear and feel and taste the quality of those higher thoughts, recognize it, and then act upon it. At the same time, you have this relationship with your own ego, your own personality, your own physical vessel, to then implement these higher realm thinkings that are being dropped down from the higher planes, creative thoughts, insights, truths, vibrations, things that don't fall into any kind of linguistic category that I can explain, because I ran out of things there. There's more than just truths and ideas that get dropped down from spirits. There are upgrades, there are vibrational essences. It's the indescribable, but you will know of what I speak. You can then synchronistically give this to yourself as a form, as a person. So you have your spirit assimilating all of this, and then it's handing it over to your formed, manifested ego / personality / persona that we call us here on the pleasant, the pleasant, interesting, I hope it's pleasant for you, the present realm. And this relationship is so compatible. It's like the two sides of your brain are so very balanced, and the harmony between them that's balancing through that corpus callosum of yours, it's intense. It's what it is conscious. You seem to be a soul who has a deep understanding that you are a spirit in a form, and that understanding is so deeply ingrained within you that your nervous system has become a magic wand that you can wield, and that is how your magic works. So you have the good fortune of being able to hear and understand and commune with your guides, and the good fortune of being able to translate that into things that your ego, your personality, and your body can understand, and then act on them accordingly. With the High Priestess and the Wheel of Fortune, truly it is an electric and favorable gift. And this type of gift I typically see, you know what's funny about this, is this type of consciousness is very prophetic and very rare in that it's not typically as obviously manifested, but it's very much like Buddha consciousness or Christ consciousness or Muhammad consciousness. It's very ascended master. So what happens is you have an ascended master magic chillin' within you, but it's not just chillin', you're doing things with it. With the sap of the moon plant and the star and the raven's head and the sun, my goodness, your magic draws experiences into you that are exactly what you want to experience. And you don't always know it initially, but it does hit consciously, usually after you've been introduced to the energy. You're like, oh, okay, why am I working here? This is not ideal. But then you start to realize, oh, I know exactly why I'm here. Cool. Let's get what we want to get out of it and proceed to the next adventure. Or why am I with this person? Man, I have no idea. Like, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to do that? Then you get into it, you start swimming in the energy, and you're like, oh, I know exactly why I'm here, why I did that. It all comes clear very quickly for you. And as time linearly progresses, you become more and more and more clear about the whys behind everything that you're experiencing. And the funny thing is, when I said the whys, I tend to think in letters when I speak. The way it was spelled was W-I-S-E. The whys, but what I meant to say was W-H-Y-S. But for you, they're interconnected. You understand the whys, and it creates wisdom within you. You see with the star, your desires become realized, and you're deeply interwoven, your magic, with the subconscious. So you're just incredibly conscious. That's the way your magic works, is this deep consciousness that you have of yourself, very watchful, very mindful, very Buddhic, very much like you've spent past lives, and I'm seeing much meditation in your field. It doesn't necessarily mean you meditate a whole lot now. You may, but your operating consciousness, your daily OS, is very meditative. And you do have lifetimes where you have spent a lot of time trying to merge with the divine. Funny thing is, lifetimes are not linear. They're happening now, those quote unquote past lives. So you're actually having so many aspects of yourself meditating at all times. Like there's you who's here now. Let's say your name is Samantha. But then there are like 10,000 versions of you with other names, Robert and Son, who are meditating. Like those are elements of you in parallel dimensions, or past lives as we call them, who are meditators. So it's like a huge percentage of your consciousness is spent in other realities just trying to get to the divine. Such an interesting sort of a magic. Very, very, very cool. Very, very lucky too, very fortunate, a lot of good karma sown, because you have this bigger picture perspective. You constantly see yourself as just a pawn in the bigger scheme of things. And that is the very quality that makes this magic so potent, that makes your nervous system so integrated with your physicality, with all of your physicality. Our nervous system's always integrated with our physicality, but yours is sensitive and controllable by you. You can, again, self-soothe. You can also excite yourself with a thought. You constantly have this dynamic going on with you and your higher selves. And the interesting thing is your spirit guides are really staying behind the scenes. So are your ancestors. First of all, you are a lot of your own spirit guides, which is interesting. Like parallel versions of you in other dimensions are your own spirit guide in this one. And you also, your ancestors say is not as impactful to you as it would be to others, because of the level of consciousness and awareness and mindfulness that you have over your reality and how present you are and how bigger picture minded you are. There's less of an impact from your DNA and from your ancestral line because you've come so present into this moment. It's almost like you've superseded the laws that bind the rest of us in many ways. With the magician, we see that clearly. And with Jupiter, it's your magic has actually possessed you in the most beautiful way. Your magic is in you realizing that your identity is the divine. So it's very self-realized energy. Absolutely gorgeous to be a part of. So how does it work? Well, we've established there's a strong link to your nervous system. We've established there's a strong wisdom. You've taken insights from many lives with the star and the sun and the wheel of fortune, the high priestess and the magician. It's giving last life energy, last human life energy. And that's never an ill wish, and that's not a promise, and that's not a guarantee. But what it is it says you're a being who is here so mindfully and consciously that you will be allowed to decide a lot about how and when the human life ends and moves on to something else and what it moves on to. In other words, the way your magic works is to your will. I think I said that in the onset of our reading. It's what you decide you want. Once again, do as thou wilt. You are an anomaly in that you have worked out so much karma, have done so much, have been through so much. At this point, it's a lot of playtime. And I would like to mention that ascension is not a linear process. So you could vibrate completely with the truth of this today, and then in 2 weeks, find yourself vibrating in another pile completely, because our consciousness can jump around. It just so happens that at this divine moment in time, you are so harmonious, so empowered, so aligned that your magic is your servant and you are the wielder of it. How does your magic work? However you want it to. It can do anything, it can go anywhere, it can manifest anything, it can create anything, it can affect anyone, it can transcend any boundary, it can translate any wisdom. It is a barrier breaker. It is a form maker. It is a soul taker. It is, wow, we're rapping now, or at least rhyming. It's a rhythm. It's music, and you're the conductor and the creator. That's how your magic works. And I feel so confident in your confidence and your advancement that I can leave it there and we can go into practical advice about how to activate it. Although it's feeling pretty darn activated to me, darling. Here we go. I'm moving my leg again because it is really just fast asleep. Wow. That's fun. Thanks for bearing with me there. Okay, let's do the animals. The aminals. So practical advice for activating your magic. A beautiful pile for Danburite. Yeah. What a high vibration crystal. What a high vibration magic. High vibrations referring to speed, not superiority. Okay? I don't think you needed to know that, but I needed to say it, so. I also just saw the dragon come out. That was pretty cool. Okay, and there it is on the back of the deck again. Definitely wants to be acknowledged. That is, you've got that energy. Interestingly, dragon is a highly evolved reptilian, so it speaks to ancient magic. It speaks to both primal magic, fantastical magic, and futuristic magic. It's very dynamic. Whoa, okay. Nope. No, just no. There we go. Okay, horse. Crow. Yes, we had the raven's head before, and we have the crow again. Tiger. Owl. Oh, yeah. Unicorn, naturally. And the deer and BOD. Back of the deck is spider, but we're not keeping that. We're just peeping it. Relevant, but not... Relevant to be noticed and acknowledged, but not meant to be clung to. All right, practical application steps, please, for this beautiful soul's magic activation. With great power comes great responsibility. Oh. Yeah, that's for you to know. Oh, I guess you already know it. Don't mind me. Yep. Okay, knew it. High Priestess. We are keeping the High Priestess in because that's totes relevant. So let's do a little shuffling, a little organizing to make sure everything fits. If it fits, I sits. That's a reference to cats. I don't know. Oh yeah, and then as I touch the tiger. Interesting. We've got prey and predator here. So much inside of you, beautiful pile 4. So much to be discovered, so much to be shared. The 7 of Wands is trying to break off the deck there in the back. Your conviction, your fire. So let's talk about it. Practical implementation steps for you is to first and foremost trust what you know. Don't shy away from your own wisdom. You really undersell it a lot of the time. Not just to others. I think you actually undersell it the least to others. I think you undersell it the most to yourself. You've got links to extra dimensional beings like the Pleiadians, like the Syrians, even the Greys. You've got links to the dead. You've got links to ancestors should you desire conversation with them. You've got links to your own Buddhic meditating interdimensional selves. So don't at any point shy away from or run from what passes through your mind. I think that sometimes you get overwhelmed with the word was almost there. Implications. Sometimes you get overwhelmed with the implications of what you've realized, the truths of things, or what you've foreseen. You're like, my God, you're overwhelmed by your own purview. Sometimes you're overwhelmed by what you're able to see. The picture gets so big that you feel so small in it. And Spirit would like you to feel bigger. So this, when it comes to practical applications, the thing that would build confidence in your own spiritual gifts is more grounding. So getting more breathwork time in, more breathing, more hydration, more nature walks, more outdoor exposure, communing with people who are on your level with the Three of Coins. You're going to want to collaborate practically. It may be difficult to find people initially who are on your level, although you could look into a church, you could look into a temple. You may even consider Buddhism. That comes through a lot because you have a lot of Buddha consciousness here with you. So consider Buddhism if you're not already looking into it. Buddhic meditations, loving kindness meditations, the entire mental systems that are laid out in the Buddhic practice, as well as the mantras. You could benefit from looking into all of those and speaking to Buddhists, because there may be this symbiotic quality of relatability with you to one another. There's also this idea of you got to get out and talk to nature. Talk to the sun, talk to the moon, talk to the stars. Make time to go outside, grab yourself a little planetary app where you can see who's who. And Jupiter's been out for months over here where I am, invisible with the naked eye. I talk to Jupiter all the time. You had Jupiter show up in your initial how your energy works piece. Jupiter came up. Go talk to the planets and the stars. Learn how to communicate with them consciously, because right now there's this idea that you feel kind of alone or overwhelmed by maybe being the only one who can see a lot of what you see. The sun has words for you. The moon has words for you. Trees have words for you. Crows, animals have words for you. You will find comrades and friends and homies in nature that you can actually have dialogue with, because you've got that level of telepathy here where don't expect it to sound like the conversation you and I are having right now necessarily, but ask for signs and ask to understand what they're telling you, and then you can talk back to them. You can ask them questions. This is, again, when we're talking about practical implementation, for other piles it was like yoga. For you it's like go have a telepathic conversation with a crow. You are on a different plane of consciousness, but the practical implementation kind of has already been done by you so much. So now we're going to retitle this for you, Pile 4, Impractical Application. With the Tiger and the Knight of Wands, please have no fear about acting upon your insights. The Tiger moves stealthily and then it moves quick. The funny thing is I had a dream this morning that I titled Killing a Tiger to Save My Father. And I was in this gladiator like Colosseum situation of fighting a tiger to save my father's life. And the funny thing is, here's a tiger and here's a man whose profile looks like my father. Hey Pops, love ya. The purpose of that dream for me was to fight my fears to save something I love. For you, Spirit is asking you to find the heart buy-in for those that you love, and understand that your actions are never selfish. Seems to me you burn out on your own expansion and development sometime because you can't see how it's serving other people. And sometimes I think you get a little disillusioned even by your own ability to manifest things and have this beautiful life that you have, because you're like, how is this connecting to the collective? I feel like I'm running in a line on my own. Get in touch with the people you love and understand how your success, your happiness, your evolution, and your expansion benefits them. This is an incentive to your action, and it will make you a powerful actor in following your impulses and your creativity. You get the idea for a book, and then you go, oh, I already know everything that's in the book. I might as well just not write it because I already know it, and, we'll just move on to the next thing. And Spirit's saying like, no, baby, no. Write the book not for yourself, for your father. God, that made me want to cry. Write the book not for yourself, for your daughter. Write the book not for yourself, but for your best friend. Move into that heart chakra and start implementing your actions for the love of others. God, that's full body chills, baby. I don't know if you can see that, but just literally all the way up to my shoulders. Do the thing for those that you love. Pick a person and devote it to them. Okay? That way you don't lose sight of the way that you are so interwoven into the collective. With the owl and the 3 of wands. Interesting, we got a 3 of coins and a 3 of wands. It's not so much about seeing where you're going. Back up a little bit from trying to see the linear destination, because as we talked about just a hair's moment ago, ascension and expansion is not linear. You may be in this incredible Buddhic consciousness today, and then tomorrow you are in Gaga consciousness and you feel like a pile of poop and you forget what spirituality ever was. Believe me, we've all been there. It is a constant ebb and flow, and the pendulum swing returns, right? So you have this incredibly balanced nervous system and consciousness, and yet sometimes on a grander scale, even the most balanced consciousnesses swing all the way into what feels like depression or feels like mania. Your advice here from the divine at large is to not try to see the end game. See from the bigger picture like you do, yes, absolutely, but don't force yourself to the, what's it called? The inevitable end, or to the rational or logical conclusion. Don't force yourself to try to bring things to termination and understand the why, because you do understand it, but understand it simply on the level it's presented to you. Don't try too much harder to get further beyond what's in front of you and go, okay, well, if this is this, then that is that, and this is this, and then that is that. You have enough information, play with what you have. There's this need for more play, which goes directly into the unicorn and the 6 of wands. You will literally be successful at anything you desire, my beautiful pile 4. Anything. You name it, the world is your oyster. You came here to experience it. Do as thou wilt. That's the permission given to you by spirit. It's like your karma is sorted, baby. Now you get to play. So play. Create. Be Christopher Nolan. Be a filmmaker if you want. Be Bill Gates if you want. Be a unicorn. Be like totally unknown. Go into the mountains and the Alps and hermit yourself up. Whatever your heart wants, it's really time to live by your heart. And allow those you love to inspire you. Remember that you're worthy of just as much love as you give others. And then play. Play. This is how to activate your magic most practically, is to have fun with it. This is your practical advice. Have as much fun as you can. It leads to your inevitable success. Don't shy away from or run from your wisdom and your insights and knowledge. Instead, integrate it into play. That is how the doer, the masculine, vibes best with the receiver, the surrenderer, the feminine. You have these hemispheres so beautifully balanced in your consciousness. So allow the play that is the pure enjoyment of surrender to just gently flow into the doing. Without even noticing it, you'll have created masterpieces. You will have communicated wide-eyed wisdom. You'll be reciting poetry. You'll be seen if you want to be seen, or hidden if you want to be hidden. You'll be talking to extraterrestrials if you want to be talking to extraterrestrials. But have fun with it. Allow yourself to play and be imaginative, and trust the imaginings that come to you, because they're so rich and vital and beautiful. With the Hierophant here, you are so wise. Buck up against the traditional systems. You don't need a structure necessarily. Right after I say go check out Buddhism, but check it out and play with it. You don't have to adopt anything. You don't have to tie yourself to anything. You are free. You are the high priestess. Your only assignment here is to trust what's already within you. Trust the wisdom that you've received, and then play with it. Let the acting upon it come later. Play first. Before you know it, you'll have accidentally created an empire. Oops, like I was just playing. I created an empire? That's strange. How did that happen? Don't know. Well, I mean, obviously, I know, but you'll know too when it happens. And that, my beautiful soul, is where we are leaving it today. It has been such a gift to read for you, Pile 4. If you'd like to comment, I'd love to read it. If you want to like, that makes my little heart sing. If you want to share this video, my God, that makes my heart really sing. And if you want to join me in the Patreon for the ritual that comes with this reading, then we'll do that too. It's all there, my beautiful soul. So until we meet again, I am sending you all the love I've got. Thanks for being on this journey of expansion and growth. It is an honor to have met you. And until we meet again, bye for now. Oh, I don't know what to do with the hair, to be quite honest. Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome to the question and answer portion of today's reading. First and foremost, darling, thank you for being part of the reading, for watching the reading, for taking your notes if you took them, or just letting it wash over you if that was your preferred method. Either way, you can return to it, you can watch multiple times, you could look at multiple piles. You are a free agent in this world, and the fact that you used your agency to join me in my space, oh God, my space, remember that. It's an honor and a privilege, so thank you. I've got 10 questions here, darling, and I launched into them and then had some technical difficulties and unlaunched. So now we're launching again. I was going to say this room is haunted. It's not true. Or is it? There's just a problem with the electrical outlets. And so many things are plugged in this room, things you can't even see in the shot, obviously, that getting them all to work harmoniously and correctly is this act of fine-tuning the plug into the outlet, which I think is kind of poetic because it reminds me of the reading we just did and the fine-tuning required to activate your magic. So it's all as the actor in Disturbia says, not Shia LaBeouf, but one of his lead co-stars says, it's cohesive. I love that movie, by the way. So let's launch again. We'll start with, what type of meditation do you do? I've mentioned being a certified meditation teacher multiple times, so I completely understand how this question arose, and it's a great question. And I want to actually give you something you can copy if you want to. So if you want to be like the little reader, bust out your pen again and copy this. First thing I do in the morning is not get out of bed. I have realized that my barrier to entry for meditation is discomfort. If I'm uncomfortable in a sitting or seated position, rather, I will not do it. Yeah, I just said that. That's true, though. So we're all about truth. So I rip my pillow out from under my head to ensure that I don't go back to sleep. I roll onto my back because that also helps me not to go back to sleep. I grab my phone and I immediately go to Wim Hof breathing on YouTube. And I go to the YouTube video every time because I want that guy to get the money from my ad visitation because his breathing situation has changed my life. So every time I do the video, I return to YouTube. I listen for 11 minutes. I'll put the link down below if you want it. You can find it. Then I do 30 minutes of a nakshatra meditation. That is the sound that the cosmic universe was making the day you were born astrologically. I think it's Vedic astrology. And I got that mantra from my teacher when I was trained. You do not need your nakshatra mantra. It's very nice and I recommend it, but you don't need it. You may select another mantra, marry it, choose it, and then stick with it for at least 30 days at a time so it has a chance to absorb into you. There are so many mantras, both Sanskrit and English or your language of choice, some that you can understand, some that you can't. Again, pick one. 30 minutes. I use Insight Timer to track it. Then, after that, back to Wim Hof one more time. That's 2 sessions of Wim Hof within 1 hour and 30 minutes of mantra meditation. That happens before I get out of bed every morning. If I've got to be out of bed at 5, we're doing that at 4. If I got to be out of bed at 6, we're doing that at 5. It's just built in and it's so rote at this point from repetition that it never doesn't happen. I can count on finishing that meditation every day, hopefully to the day I die. Now, throughout the rest of the day, I will revisit the Wim Hof meditation and do that breathing again. Sometimes I'll do it at 1 p.m. If I feel immunocompromised in any given day, I don't mean in the traditional sense as a diagnosis, but if I feel my immune system is challenged, I will hit that Wim Hof breathing like every hour on the hour if I have the liberty to do so. Remote worker,
for the win. If not, if I got something else going on in the day, I'll just make time for it between errands or before I commute or upon returning from my commute. Or even if I'm in the workspace, I will go out to my car and do it in the car. It is top priority for the little reader, so it just has to happen. Then somewhere between 5 and 7 p.m., I will strive. This is one that doesn't always happen. In fact, I'd say less often does it happen. But I will strive to do another 30 minutes of mantra meditation, same mantra for me, and another 2 sessions of Wim Hof breathing. And then before bed, sometimes, I will do HRV breathing. I'll put a link to that down below. Forgive me, my nose is itching again, but this time the right side. And this is a different day, but it's just happening again. If you saw the intro, you know what I'm talking about. But HRV breathing, regulated, great for the nervous system, puts me into phenomenal sleep. One of the reasons, there are a lot of reasons I'm very hardcore about meditation. You might be thinking, little reader, what? It's a priority for me. It's gotta be. It makes my life a lot smoother, a lot more conscious. It makes any potential that lives within me more likely to manifest into reality than not. So, for those reasons, I'm in, darling. Not everyone will have the desire to do so. That's totally okay. Find your equivalent. Find the thing that lights you up and makes you feel like you can take on life and make love to it. That's what meditation does for me. There are a few others that I love, and they're almost all available on YouTube. You don't need me to teach you, although I'd love to. You really don't. You can just find the resources and then implement. The key is consistency. That's all. Do it for 30 days. You'll be a different person. I'd put money on it. All my money. So that was the long answer to a short question of what type of meditation do you do? Great segue to the next question, which is, are you a witch? Wow, meditation and witchery, I love it. I'm looking over here to make sure the mic is still plugged in. I also feel like I may sneeze. Am I a witch? Yes, maybe, but not in the traditional sense, in that I'm not trained, I'm not fully aware of what all the tools that a traditional witch uses are good for. I would call it intuitive witchery. I will use herbs for certain things, use crystals for a lot of things. I think of those tools as sorts of technology. Do I have like a cauldron and a spell book? No. But, I wish, but no. If anyone wants to be my mentor, by the way, hi, I'd love to be mentored into witchery. However, don't have one right now. Don't feel the call in that direction necessarily. And this is a lead into the next question, but I would say my poor, ignorant understanding of being a witch and using the tools of a witch and essentially using alchemy with physical objects to manifest certain outcomes, I would say I do that in a different type of way. Not in the way a witch would do it, but maybe in the way that an extraterrestrial would do it. It's like a slightly different flavor in magic, but it is same concept, same. I would say, similar objectives as we're trying to turn our will into reality somehow or affect change through the elements. They're just different ways. So, am I a witch? Not in the traditional sense, probably. Interestingly, it does run in my family. So there are witches and witch-talented people and like shaman types, and Santeria was a big thing on my mother's side. So, yeah, do what you will with that information. Have you ever seen an alien? This is the segue I was talking about. Have I ever seen an alien? Yeah. Have I seen it standing in front of me? Well, kind of, yeah, actually. But like with my eyeballs, the way I'm looking at this microphone or you or this lamp, it's different. It's not for me. It's not quite the way that you'll hear, for example, I'm about to reveal some nerdy interests on my side, but Bob Lazar's story of working with alien technology. In a couple of those documentaries, I think there were stories or similar documentaries you might find, for example, on Gaia, of individuals who have said they've seen aliens or extraterrestrial / dimensional beings standing right in front of them that they could perceive in the third dimension. I will tell you right away, no, never had that experience. However, that's not my skill set so much. In fact, I was pretty much legally blind by the age of 9 years old. So vision into the third dimension, not my skill set. Perception, whole other story, baby. So a good way to rephrase this question would be, have you perceived an alien or extraterrestrials? And the answer would be yes. And do I have stories? You betcha. And will I tell them? At some point when they become relevant. That's a whole wormhole that we just... But we won't. So have you ever seen an alien? Sort of. What readers are you watching right now? That's a great question. Well, if I haven't said it already, I'm making sure we're still live here. I love Aso Tarot, Kino Tarot, the goddess of the unknown, also known as Te. I don't know what her handle is right now, but when I discovered her, it was the goddess of the unknown. White Feather Tarot. These are like the Fab Four. I think that's 4, that not only inspired me to get my little face right here with you, because I was like, oh my goodness, this is kin. This is like, there's the inspiration because there's a kinship here, and it was a beautiful thing. I'm a big fan of all 4 of those individuals. Who am I watching right now, though? Actually, a new discovery for me that I just discovered a month ago, I'd say. That's even being a little generous, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. A channel called Cosmic Kin. This channel, the algorithm blessed me with it. I found the videos. I started watching. It was a breath of enlightened air for me to inhale, and it was invigorating, and I'm still watching, and I'm still a huge fan. So Cosmic Kin, that's where I would direct you if you want to do as I do, but don't feel pressured to do as I do. Do as you do, baby. What is the energy of 2024? Okay, so now we're getting a little more broad. The energy of 2024, my take, my experience, what I'm sensing is heart-based living comes to the forefront. Wow, how much time have we got? Because I've got a speech prepared. Okay, just the essentials. Heart-based living. One of my favorite spiritual teachers, Matt Kahn, refers to something called the quickening, which is the acceleration of timelines and evolution as a result of the space that people such as yourself, who are aiming to become more conscious, to evolve, to expand, to align with their destiny, who know there's a force greater than them and want to bow down to it and work with it. Those individuals like yourself have held such space in recent times for evolution and growth and have been so courageous that it has resulted in an acceleration of timelines toward certain outcomes like consciousness raising to the 5th dimension. I have witnessed the quickening. That's not that description I vibe with completely. I have witnessed the quickening in a different type of way. It's certainly an acceleration of timelines, and I think it comes from people choosing to acknowledge and act upon their feelings more than they have historically. So it totally dovetails with beautiful Matt Kahn's take. And I would add my own perception of the energy of 2024 to be everyone, including people who don't buy into psychic stuff and readings and aliens. Like, man, I've got friends who I know and love who are like, aliens? And that's fine, you know? We're all living in our own realities, baby. And yet those same individuals are making moves based on their heart chakra. What I'm trying to say is I wouldn't single out any group of individuals, light workers, star seeds, etc., or those who live solidly in the material realms. I wouldn't say they're having different experiences. I would say everyone is being affected and desiring to reconnect with their heart chakra and live in a more feelings-based way. Everyone. I could even drop names of people who you would know, who are associated with tech, and anyway, a bunch of folks. Again, everyone, every soul is moving towards this heart-based thing. So what is the energy of 2024? It is a refocusing of the lens of consciousness from the perspective of the heart chakra versus from the perspective of, in many cases, the solar plexus of doing, and of the crown and the third eye of thinking. And I'd say those are shadow aspects of those chakras, but that's what we've seen a lot of in the past few years. A lot of doing and a lot of thinking. But right here in 2024, we're getting a lot of feeling, and people are a lot less tolerant this year of things that don't feel good. Man, I have more to say on that, but we'll save that for another time. What element is ruling 2024? My perception, and I'm guessing, or I'm making an assumption on this question, that the elements that are being asked about are earth, water, air, fire, and space. My perception is that air is the element ruling 2024. I have not researched it. Oh, sorry. Okay. I haven't looked into it beyond, like in a knowledge-based way. It's been experiential completely for me. There is a cool breeze that is washing over everyone's consciousness, and it is quite literally like the gods and ascended masters are blowing away debris and blowing a smoke. You could almost imagine a giant deity with a joint who takes an inhale, obviously doesn't cough because they're a baddie and they do this all the time. I don't know what they're hitting. It's a joint full of their perfect deity drug, and blowing that smoke onto human consciousness. And the vehicle of that clearing is completely air-based. Air, the element of movement, travel, knowledge, speed, mental clarity, communication. That is what is ruling 2024 as far as what I can perceive. What does it mean as far as predictions? I love this question. We're not trying to make predictions right now. But if I had to, I would say that air quality, big deal in 2024. Breath work for getting an edge on yourself, huge in 2024. If you want to take a hit off of what these deities and ascended masters are blowing onto our consciousness, it will behoove you and me and the world to look at the quality of air, look at the element of air, look at their relationship with it. What kind of scents do you scent your home with? What kind of things do you smoke or not smoke? What kind of oils do you breathe in? What is the air quality in your city like? Do you ever make a break out into nature to breathe some negative ions, or out to the ocean? Relationships with air, big. Also, sound is a huge part of air. And so what music are you listening to? What readings are you listening to? Whose voice are you listening to? Every voice has a frequency, and in addition to the significance of the words spoken by that voice, like the words I'm speaking now, the sound of the voice itself is transmitting information purely through its frequency into your being. So you receive downloads just by hearing. Even if I just went blah, 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 that's transmitting. So becoming conscious and aware of these things will allow you to rule the year with the element of air, which, again, is my perspective of what's ruling the year in 2024. What's your advice for starseeds in 2024? I think this is where the video stopped last time, so making sure everything's good. I actually can't see if the video's even running at this point, but trust, baby. My advice for starseeds in 2024 is don't identify as a starseed. Throw away spiritual identity if you can. Gently and lovingly. Throw away sounds so violent. Take it, cradle it up like a baby, kiss it on the head. Love you. And then hand it over to the divine and say, that was my spiritual identity. I'm open to not having one anymore. Because the very idea of starseed, limiting, and my leg is completely asleep. Sorry about that leg. The idea of a starseed, very limiting. It puts the individual seeking at first into this vast idea of like, oh, I'm from the stars. Pleiades? Sirius? Sirius XM is what I thought of, which is kind of funny. I'm going to move my microphone cord, which is a very risky thing, and move my leg simply because I'd like to feel what it's like to have a right leg again. But now that that's done, we continue. At first, it's an expansive vibration like, oh, to be a starseed is so liberating because now I'm from the stars, not just from Earth. But ultimately, as with every identity, it then places new limits on us. If you're from the stars, that means you can't be from blah, 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 blah. And blah, 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 blah is like this even more wondrous place. So, yeah, I just made that up. But for the sake of this example, lose the identity completely. That's my advice for starseeds in 2024. You certainly can be from the stars, certainly can be from the earth, certainly can have your genetic origins and your ancestral origins and your past life origins, and that's beautiful. And there is a time and place for acknowledging those, accepting them and loving them, and looking at how they affect you in any given moment. But once you've moved past that point of, okay, I'm from there, it makes me this way, cool. Then you move into the present moment. And where we are in this present moment, right here in this room, you and I, gosh, I love you. That is where reality is. Right here. So, where does that leave us? Infinity. Anything can be created in this moment. We don't have to categorize it or limit it with any kind of label or definition. So, use the label for its value while it offers you value and makes you feel more infinite. In the moment, it makes you feel less infinite. Let it go. Move on to the next exploration. I would also add in anyone who identifies as a starseed, light worker, sensitive, spiritualist, mystic. Take time to work with the element of air. And understand that you don't need my advice. Great segue into the next question. Do you use drugs? Okay, we're still recording. This is an important one. I mean, is it? Do you use drugs? Yeah. Everything's a drug, baby. That's a cop-out answer, but I'm going to give you a real one, too. Actually, maybe it's not so much of a cop-out. It expands the nuances of the question, and I think we can appreciate that. People, places, and things. My perspective, all drugs. What is a drug? It is a substance that we ingest that alters our perception. Well, last time I checked, my environment alters my perception, and I ingest it through my 5 senses and beyond, through the other senses that are not currently quantified by our scientific resources. Does a person alter my perception? You betcha. The sound of their voice, the way they look at me, or don't. The way they touch me, or don't. All those interactions, though, that's a drug. I'm taking a hit off of them and ingesting them, once again, through my many senses. Does a thing impact me? Yes. This is why I have this meditating individual here. This is why I have this stone here. This is why I have this orange rock next to me, knowing that that color will permeate through the screen and hit you with a very particular frequency. It's the frequency of orange. The light wave length is different than that of blue. It's going to have a different effect on you. Not meant to rhyme. So, people, places, and things, all drugs, and we're surrounded by them at any time. You're taking a hit off of me right now. I hope you like it. This is drug use. So do I use drugs? Yeah, but in every second. This is where intentionality and mindfulness come in, because as we become more intentional and more mindful of our environment, the people with whom we are surrounded by, and the items that we use, the more we become finely attuned to the effect that they have on us, and then the more we can discern how we'd like to change or amend those people, places, or things to align with what we would like to experience. So, do you use drugs? Yes. Now let's get to the real point of that question, which I think everyone is like, come on, little reader, like, come on. Yeah, I do. I've not used pharmaceutical drugs. So that would be your Adderalls. Oh gosh, where to start? I went to Adderall because it's been a topic of conversation for the past few weeks in my social circle. Haven't used it, but know of it. Of course, psychological background. But there's so many pharmaceutical drug options that I have not had the pleasure of encountering yet. As far as recreational drugs, street drugs, I have used psilocybin. I have used LSD. I wanted to be really fancy and say the whole thing out loud, but I couldn't remember what it stands for. Cannabis. Caffeine. Am I missing anything? Supplemental drugs. Yes, this is something that we're always like, oh, big pharma, but then what about big natural, baby? We've got all kinds of unregulated supplements that we can play with. Magnesium. I've never used melatonin. Various herbs in capsules. You never know what's in there, but I've used them. So I hope that offers an idea of where I've dabbled. A lot of that is historical. I don't use any drugs on the daily except caffeine at this point in time, but it's important to say that that could always change. Once again, my thought is everything's a substance, everything's a drug, and it is, who am I to categorize some into I have to be mindful about these, but all of these I don't need to be mindful about. I can just use these. Even a cup of coffee is used very mindfully by the little reader, certain times of day, for certain purposes, knowing that it has an incredibly psychoactive effect on me. Huge. So, may that answer the question sufficiently. Do you talk to trees? Great question. Do I talk to trees? Okay. I talk to everything. Tables, tablecloths, microphones, lights, technology. You can't see it's off frame, but my laptop. Obviously humans, they talk back. That's very amusing. But it seems to me that inanimate objects respond as well. I have a very rich life of conversing with inanimate objects, and it turns out they're not so inanimate. Crystals, of course. So then we get to plants. Absolutely. Yes, I talk to trees. Yes, I talk to the ocean, the moon, the sun. I encourage these types of dialogues. It came up in our reading today for one of our crews. I encourage these types of dialogues if you can bring yourself to give the opportunity to the object to respond to you, and not necessarily frame that response or require that response to be in your language. It could also be in any of the other multitude of languages that you speak, which, believe it or not, you're fluent in so many languages you don't know about. You're fluent in the language of feeling. You're fluent in the language of perceiving movement, perceiving body language. An inanimate object has a body language. It has a vibration. It has a aura, a presence. It will affect you. It will even move on its own. That's another story time. We talked about aliens today, but we didn't even get into ghosts. There's so much going on in this glorious present moment. I mean, the wall, the color of the wall, I think I mentioned that earlier, but it's also relevant. So yeah, do I talk to trees? Yes, they are among the vastness of the things that I converse with. Do they talk back? That's not written here, but yes, they do. And it's in a multitude of languages, just as I said now, including, but not limited to, English, shockingly. And then finally, we're still rolling? Yes, we are. What is your day job? Wouldn't you like to know? No, I'm going to tell you. My day job is branding and marketing. Yeah, that's my day job. Thank you for asking. So that is where we're leaving it, beautiful soul. I hope you've had as much fun as I have on this roller coaster ride through the little reader's mind. May it be enlightening for you. May it be fun. At the very least, may it be entertainment. And at the very most, may it inspire you to become more you. Not more me. Me is already taken, but more you. What did you like? What do you want to implement? Do it. What did you not like? What do you want to dismiss? Do it. Become you, because we need you desperately. I need you. I'm inspired by you. So thanks for being here. Until we meet again, I am sending you all the love I've got. Bye for now.